If you've ever felt like the third wheel, this podcast is for you.
If you love Wheel of Time, this podcast is for you.
If you're bored and have nothing better to do, this podcast is for you.
Join Rob,
Megan,
And Jen,
in celebrating the Wheel of Time
and its statistically best fandom,
and ridiculous gaming skills,
and probably a few cocktails.
and find out which one of them will be the third wheel this time.
This is
three-wheeling.
Hey!
Hello.
Woohoo!
Hello. That was a lot of fun. I just like bopping along because we don't always have an audience member when we record. So we
I
were
felt
dancing
very
for you, Laura.
performative.
I've always danced through this, and I had no idea anyone could see me while I was dancing. That's good to know.
Back when we did this on StreamYard, no one could. It was only me in the back. Only those with mod powers could see. So I could see you all dancing.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm pretty sure it keeps us on screen, so everyone can see us dancing if they choose to join us live, much as Laura has done, our new patron.
Hello,
Laura. Welcome. Laura can't remember because we asked Laura pre-recording whether she won our cocktail recipe giveaway book back from a holiday. Can't remember. I know I tried, but I was on and off the stream. We've had no other Laura reach out to us.
So it's
we've
you.
Tried. It's you, Laura. So Laura, after the recording, you need to hop into my DMs and you need to send me an address, and then we will coordinate to get out that recipe book to you. So, but yeah. Hooray! Back again. I only saw you a few days ago.
I know. I love it. It's great.
I know. It's amazing. Oh, and you'll be at WatCon. Oh, that's great.
Amazing. Okay.
Oh, we could even bring it to WatCon.
Oh, yeah. We can definitely do that. Yeah.
Yes.
I would like to say, since we do have someone actually physically watching, almost, I just put lipstick on, but I'm doing the Avienda today. So I don't know if you guys noticed. This is I'm jumping right into the episode. I know we have lots to do beforehand, but I just, to explain myself, David was watching and he was like, why does Avienda look different this season? And I was like, it's not this season, it's this episode. She is a wise one and she's no longer allowed to wear her Cadensor makeup.
Mm-hmm.
The heavy eye makeup that they wear, which I'm assuming is also part of sun blocking. Oh yeah, watch her. She's absolutely no makeup now that she's scowling around in her wise one outfit, and it's delicious and delightful. She's so gorgeous. But I was like, yeah, she just doesn't have makeup on. He was like, oh my god, yeah. So I'm sporting my this is so in honor of Avienda as a wise one. I'm going sans makeup today.
All right.
I feel like sans makeup might be an interesting episode title.
I like that. I think that is a good one.
Yeah.
So
Although we'll have given away the episode title reason straight away, as opposed to you have to listen to us. So I don't know, but yeah. It's only been a few days. Like I say, we got together on Tuesday and talked to Rosamund Pike. So I've seen you twice this week already. Ish.
I know.
Twice. Well, this is the second time this week rather than once, and I normally only see you once every 2 weeks. So this is even better.
Yeah.
So you're gonna get so sick of us, Rob.
Nah.
Never.
So, but yeah, how has everyone been?
Good.
Yeah. I mean,
wow, that sounds
let's just say it's been a week, but we're going to focus on the podcast and the fandom right now. And it has been a beautiful week, and I am in love with this episode, and I am in love. I'm wearing my old school original Tel'aran'rhiod necklace from Badali Jewelry.
I meant to wear that when I watched the episode, and I forgot.
Which I have never felt like this actually looks like what I imagine the ring to look like at all. This is definitely not, but it's what Badali actually sold as the Tel'aran'rhiod ring.
Oh.
The Tel'aran'rhiod ring. Years ago. I mean, Meg, when did we get these? 15 years ago?
A while ago. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
A long time ago. Yeah. Wow. So I'm wearing it in honor of this episode.
I did nothing different for this episode.
I think we need to title this one Looky Loo Egwene. Or Creeper Egwene.
Creeper Egwene.
Peeping Egwene.
Peeping Egwene.
I don't like that I agree she went a little far, but I don't like that for our episode title, okay? I feel like it's a little too much Egwene hate. No.
All right.
Rob,
how are you?
I bet if I suggested something derogatory towards Perrin or slightly haty towards Perrin, Meg would be like, yeah, okay, we can go with that. That's fine.
Yeah. She'd probably be fine.
Yeah. Well, Laura, you dragged yourself out of
Oh
bed
my
at
God.
3 a.m. for this?
Aww.
Laura, you
Oh,
are a
no.
rock
You
star.
mean for the TV show?
Oh, for the
okay.
episode.
Yes.
I was pretty
East
cold.
Coast.
Yes, for the
Got
episode.
you.
Yeah, there we go.
I was
Sorry,
like,
live
wow.
chat distracted me there. I was like,
I
was doing the
read
math.
the same. I totally thought the same thing you thought, Rob. And I was like, Laura, you're
was like-
really dedicated to
It's like,
listening
Laura,
to
are
our
you in
podcast.
We
Hawaii?
think very highly of ourselves.
That's the episode title.
Yes.
Oh, no, I'm good. It's I'm not doing 6 days this week, so like I can get my head around everything that's going on.
Okay.
And the clocks change tomorrow, so we all lose an hour of sleep. We've had an hour on you for a few
Yeah.
weeks now, but
But at least we'll be back to our normal.
yeah.
Our normal
I don't have to
separation
get
time.
home from work and then hop on a computer within 15 minutes.
Right.
But yeah,
Yeah.
it's good. And Meg,
Yeah.
you've been rescuing lost children.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just leave it at that.
Kids climbing trees, folks. Yeah, bless them. So
Not my children.
yeah.
Let's
Happens.
specify.
It
Not my
happens.
children.
This is true.
that's why I said. That's why I didn't be like rescuing your children. Like
Yes.
you're rescuing. Like it was a good
Other
thing.
children.
You're doing good deeds.
There's
Your
a
moonlighting is
lot of positivity for the week because we haven't done that in a while.
Yes,
Meg is
there we
saving
go.
other people's small children.
You're
Yes.
you're working on your fire and rescue
Yes.
Yeah.
skills. Yes.
Absolutely.
Oh my
So-
God, you're Matt. You're Matt and Uncle Juan.
I
Juan.
am. Yes.
Yeah.
Juan.
Will I
Mhm.
be there when the flames are high? Yes, and I even
Yeah.
saved our parents' house from a fire too. So
That's true.
Wow.
yeah.
Well,
Megan
now I feel
kinda
like
is that.
I feel like a third wheel right now because I have not saved any burning buildings or children. So
I haven't either. So Megan's the third wheel. Megan's
Meg's
the hero.
Shocking.
And
Meg's,
you-
yeah.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
it's complimentary this
I know.
time.
I'm just always the third wheel. So
Yeah. You are the third wheel a lot, aren't you? I
Mhm.
don't know. We need to change that.
Yes. We need to up our games.
I feel bad now that that's happened. So anyway, hey Jen, do you know what time it is?
I do know what time it is. What time is it, Rob?
Ah,
It's time to ask,
What's
What's
Meg
Meg drinking?
drinking?
awesome.
We are getting so good at that.
I know. I know.
So I was talking to Jen about this because I was needing some help because the only thing that was coming to my brain was the usquai scene, and I was like, so should I just pour whiskey into a shot glass and just do that? That's not really my style. And then she's like, do a Tel'aran'rhiod themed cocktail. So I wouldn't say the flavors have anything to do with Tel'aran'rhiod, but
So is it a peeping Tom cocktail?
no.
Oh, the look I got then.
So I swirled it up so it looks more.
Oh,
nice.
So I tried to go
Let's
with
see.
that like subtle blue color that they've kind of got going on in a lot of the Tel'aran'rhiod scenes.
The sort of desaturated. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And obviously the sparkles, going like woo, like all that stuff. So
And does it echo? Does it come back a second time? Did it hit you
hello,
a second time?
hello. I promise I haven't had anything
Wow.
to drink yet.
I know. I would never know that though. Oh yeah, Laura says it's that airy feel. Yeah,
Yeah.
accurate.
So that's
Accurate.
kind of
Yes,
just
yeah.
like the aesthetic is the Tel'aran'rhiod. But anyway, so the recipe is in a shaker with ice, pour 3 ounces of Empress 1908 Indigo Gin, half an ounce
one
of
of your
Saint
favorites.
Germain, a quarter of an ounce of Blue Curacao, 1 ounce of lime juice, half an ounce of simple syrup, add the edible sparkles, shake, and then pour it into a Tom Collins glass. So again, I want to do the Tom Collins glass because then you get more like, you see more of it rather than in something smaller. Yep.
Yeah.
And
A
then,
little more surface area.
yep. And then I just topped it with tonic water and cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. Well, while you're doing that, here's your obligatory ASMR. Do you know what? Not a single person commented on the cocktail shaker last week.
Ah,
You know how I said I was going to leave the
worded
cocktail
it.
shaker in the intro? I did
Oh.
leave
Yeah,
it
yeah,
in the intro. Yeah, not a single person commented on it. Tut, tut,
Wow.
tut. But here is your can-related ASMR moment as I
Nice.
open up my my can of stout.
And here's me just drinking my black coffee.
Not even a latte?
Hi, Sadie.
The order for oat milk is on its way.
Oh,
I forgot it. I ran out of oat milk yesterday and had a moment of panic.
that's
this morning.
tragic.
Yeah, that is tragic.
It's
When
okay.
I run out,
I love a strong black coffee in the morning.
that's fair. When I run out of oat milk, I stopped drinking hot drinks because I actually can't stand tea or coffee without oat milk in them anymore. So
That's right. David can't either. And I was like, he's going to wake up while I'm podcasting and he's going to be really upset and sad. So I have the order arriving. If I disappear at 1 second because there's someone banging on my door, that's why.
I love that.
We'll see.
And Mom is having her chai. So
Hi, Mom.
that's what she
Oh,
has
nice.
for
Hi,
chai.
Mom. Yes, have your chai.
Yes, love that. All right. Meg, was there anything particular from the socials you wanted to share with us?
There was just one thing I did want to talk about. So, and I think it was posted yesterday, where it showed, it was the picture of Moraine and, well, really, Rosamund and Sophie outside of the fish fuck hut. And it looked like Rob almost had a spit take.
I don't know why that got me at that moment, but it did.
And Sophie's holding a bouquet of flowers. So, Jen, I need to ask your
Yes.
opinion on this.
Yeah. She wrapped that day.
Wrapped
That was
that
her last
day
day.
for the season?
Season 3. Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah,
that's
they shot it
typical
late.
for just a season wrap, not a series wrap for a character.
Oh, no. Season wrap.
Okay.
All the girls are holding flowers. The Wonder Girls are holding flowers in... There's some... I can't remember what scene it was, but we saw a picture of the girls, all the Wonder Girls holding flowers. Yeah. No. That's not a season wrap. I mean, Jen Salke got fired yesterday from Amazon.
Did she actually get
Wait,
fired?
who?
Not
What?
not fired, but she left.
Oh,
Jen
okay.
Salke, who runs Amazon, left yesterday. So
Like Prime.
yeah, and
Prime Video.
Amazon Studios.
Okay.
Amazon Studios. She was the head of Amazon
Yeah.
Studios.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, whatever. I just saw some very mean book cloaks post about. I'm like, why am I getting my industry news from book cloaks?
Book cloaks. Yeah.
By the way, it happened on Twitter, which I don't go on at all anymore. But I was on Twitter briefly, and I saw some book cloak being. No, it wasn't. It was Facebook who was like, "Ha ha, your show's gonna get canceled."
Facebook's almost worse, I think, with the book cloaks.
They're both anything
Yeah.
Meta and anything Musk. Anyway, yes, Rosamund Pike was had flowers on the beach. Laura's reminding us at the end of last season because the
Okay.
beach scene was the last thing they shot. So yeah. That's just
Okay.
that's just a season wrap, and it also I would not intimate that means we're not getting any more White Tower this season. I just think they shot that
Right.
scene last.
Yeah.
And that also makes sense in terms of just like it's a set that they don't use much. It'd be
Mhm.
easy to just like bring that in at the very end to pick that scene up.
Yeah.
Okay. So
That's
that
my
was really
thought.
my only piece of news / question,
Yeah, because they would have shot all the White Tower stuff first together. So anything
Yeah,
that goes
no,
back
I
to the White
didn't.
Tower.
No, I wasn't concerned about that. And what my concern was it a series wrap for Sophie, meaning she will not be
Oh, I
returning?
see. Right. No.
That was my
And it was a
question.
small bouquet of flowers. If it were like a ginormous bouquet of flowers, we could discuss that. But it was,
Okay.
Or if
it
there was like
standard.
a lot of people there as well,
Mhm.
that potentially weren't going to be,
Yeah.
in that, wouldn't be in that scene. Obviously, it's just the two of them, but,
Mhm.
like maybe hadn't been seen for a season or something, and be like, oh, okay, well, we're all just going to be here because it's Sophie's last day. Like, then that would have been a bit concerning.
Okay.
Speaking of socials and kind of that idea, did you guys say it was it was in the live Amazon interview, the Amazon Live, when Rosamund said that she tries to go to set even when she's not on set.
Mhm.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
again, like I love that and that aspect of like she's an EP, so she
Mhm.
has the right to. I mean, as an actor, you can't really ask to get everybody's if you're just an actor on a show, but like as an EP, she has the right to. But also, like there are a lot of times that actors are EPs, kind of in name only. I mean, I just love. We all know that she's hands on, but
Mhm.
I just loved the sort of confirmation of that and her being like, I try to go as often as I can, and I was in Tanchico. Like I love that Maureen was in Tanchico, even though Maureen
Yeah.
isn't.
She
in
was
Tanchico.
tanning
It's really
in
cool.
Tanchico.
She
Tanning
was
in
indeed.
Tanchico. Yeah, it's great. So love her.
Yeah, I can't remember who it was, but I do remember seeing someone being interviewed one time, and they said someone asked them, sometimes in scenes you see like a flashback from one to the other when they're talking to each other, and sometimes there's not another person there. The person saying their lines is saying it to just someone on set who
Yeah,
is reading
script
the other,
supervisor.
the script supervisor, something like that, reading the other part back to them so they know their place.
Mm-hmm.
And this, it was, I can't remember which guy, it was some male actor, some guy, and
I think it was
he's like,
Agelmar.
no, this wasn't in Wheel of Time.
Oh, okay, got you.
This was just in general.
Okay.
And he said, like, no, if you know, there's a scene where I'm meant to be with someone, you know, and they're just filming that person, well, I do my lines for them,
Mm-hmm.
you know, every
Mhm.
single time. And I was
Yeah.
just like, you know,
Yeah.
that's something you don't have to do, especially. And it was like, you know, it was like Rosamund, someone of a you know, high caliber level, or you know, famous enough or popular enough, whatever, that they don't have to do those things.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it was great to hear Rosamund say that she turns up whenever she can.
It is, and you know, and truly, it is like sometimes you just can't. Sometimes you literally have to be on another location doing something else for the show, for the movie, whatever. That you cannot be there as that person. But actually, I was trained to in an acting technique to be able to deal with that because I was a professional actor in San Francisco where there isn't a lot of work. And so if you have a principal who's an important person, they're probably flown up from Los Angeles and they're probably there for 3 days. And as a San Francisco actor, you're very unlikely to be actually offered the opportunity to work against them when it's your turn. So like when they turn the camera around on you, they're either flying away or back in their trailer or whatever. And, you know, the great John Howard Swain, my mentor and a very good friend of mine, he was my acting teacher at the time. And he was like, we need to be prepared that we're never going to get the good stuff. You know, as actors in San Francisco, you're just rarely going to be the person who gets to actually emote with the person you're supposed to be emoting with. You are inevitably going to be working with the script supervisor, who's just reading the lines like blah, 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 blah. So you got to get it all yourself. You have to find your way. You know, and it's a good thing to practice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Love it. So okay, I just love some of the stunt stuff that seems to be appearing this week.
It's a lot.
That's what I've seen on socials. That's what I've really enjoyed.
Yeah, and the doubles who are doubling for more than one person or doing more than one. It's really fun to see the same stunt doubles like pop up and be like, "Yeah, that was me too."
Yeah,
it's amazing.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I literally on the way home I caught one that Tel'aran'rhiod had put up about his the White Cloak fight that's in this episode.
I just saw that one this morning too.
Him practicing, and I was like, I just love this stuff, you know,
Yeah.
because sometimes it's stunt doubles, and as much as possible it's the actors, and it's just, I don't know, there's just something about stunts I just loved. It was probably, I don't know, visiting Two Rivers was the number one thing of going to Prague the year before last, but I would say that when we started off going around the actual inside of the studios, going and seeing the stunts was probably the highlight of that. It was the highlight of that day because we didn't do Two Rivers that day. So it was highlight of that day.
Yeah.
Seeing the two little sets of stunts they did for us. It was just, yeah, it was crazy. So, but yeah, okay. On to the episode. So this is Tel'aran'rhiod, everybody, this episode.
Yes.
Directed by Marta Cunningham and written by, I'm going to say this wrong, Jen, I know you know how to say it. Ajoke?
Ajoke Ibaronke.
There we go. I am so bad with names. I cannot pronounce names to save my life. I still can't get Shore's last name correct.
Agdashlu?
Yes, I just keep saying something different. I'm terrible for it. So
Makes me think of wait, what is it? Adine? Wait, what did Gazelle Adim or something? Whatever he said.
Yeah.
No, it was John Travolta when he was supposed to be introducing Adina Menzel, and he's like,
oh,
it was awful.
Yeah, if I ever actually became like, you know, Graham Norton's one of my favorite people in the world. And
me too.
I've been watching him since he was a nobody on, like, you know, Channel 4 at 2 a.m. type thing, and he did like the world's most inappropriate TV game show type thing. It was, you know,
awesome.
I love it. Cher goes on, and Cher was watching it back there as well, back then, and she's like, "Oh, I still remember you from your show," and he just there in his chair just cringes. Awesome. He's like, "Oh no, I remember you used to watch me do that." You know, if I ever like actually like hosted a television show or something like he does, which is obviously something I would absolutely love to do, I would have to have everything spelled phonetically in, like, on the cards or on the teleprompter or anything, because there's no way I'm remembering how to say anybody's name.
And I'm sure they all do. or at least have something in their ear telling them how to say it. But Graham Norton is a global treasure.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Graham Norton is a treasure.
Absolutely. Honestly, folks, if you've not heard him go and commentate for the Eurovision Song Contest,
Oh, I haven't heard
he
that. No.
he is brutal. He does not pull punches. Mm-hmm.
That's
Brutal in the great way. Honestly, he's
amazing.
if you go watch the movie Eurovision,
Mm-hmm.
and you'll see he actually commentates in it because he does it for
That's great.
for real.
That's great.
And so they got him to do it as a fun bit. And the things he says about the two of them when they're on stage, that's how he talks about people sometimes, and it's so good. It's like, next up we have Fire Saga, and and the fire marshals have been warned and are ready. Like that sort of stuff.
That's fun.
Anyway, so where do you want to start with this episode?
Can we talk about the cold open?
Sure.
Yeah, the cold open. I'm putting little air quotes up. The cold open.
Why are you quoting it?
Because it's not like it's not a different place in time.
Right. Yeah.
It's just part of the episode.
But so there's no buffer on Sakarnan, right?
Certainly looks that way.
Because she almost burned out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We haven't heard anything about buffers anywhere
Right.
in
is
the
true.
show. And I just don't think, I think that's just, they're
And
going to leave
that's
that out.
a piece of metaphysics that's probably difficult to explain.
It's difficult to explain. And I think we talked about this
And it
because I
ups
know
the
that we had,
stakes.
exactly. It ups the stakes and it makes what they're doing have some gravity to it. It just doesn't protect people from being OP, in a way.
Right. Well, also, spoilers.
David's not listening yet.
Okay. So did Vora's Sa'angreal not have a buffer in the books?
I think in the books that had a buffer.
Well, because Egwene burned herself out with it.
Yeah, but Egwene drew too much.
If you had a buffer, you
Just-
wouldn't be able to.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rob and I are both like,
Yeah, good point. I kind of just ignore the fact that she was using a Sarangirl at that stage.
And so
it
then
just,
this makes me think that Sakarnan is going to be something that Egwene is going to be using at the end
Yeah,
of the series.
for sure.
And that
100%.
she will burn herself
100%.
out with it. For sure.
Yeah. And we've seen
Yeah.
we've seen the foreshadowing of it right now with Maureen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes, ding, 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 100%.
Mhm.
I don't think there will be. I don't think there's buffers on anything.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think we can just take it out. If you're not strong enough to use the Sarangirl or the Sarangirl, then you can burn yourself out with it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, are we going full book
I think I
spoilers
just
then?
went
'Cause-
pretty full book spoilers, so
Yeah, you pretty much did.
I think we're already there.
Well, you also said she burned herself out. I mean, she didn't. I mean, she.
Well, she burned
technically
herself
burned
out
herself
to the
out, but
point
she-
of death. So
Yes, I was going to
yes.
say she it was a thing,
To
but
the point of crystallization.
Mhm.
crystallization. But I was going to say that I've been questioning, like people have been talking about the flaw in Kalendor, whether or not the flaw will be there, blah, 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 same. I suddenly am questioning, I hate to even say this. Okay, and Laura, you're listening too, so I want to make sure you're full book spoilers. If you're not, run away. Too late. Megan just blew the entire end of the series for you, but sorry. But I have been questioning whether or not they're going to do the ending with needing two people to be attached to Rand. I hate the idea of Nynaeve just being a siphon. I hate it at the cleansing, and I hate it at the end. I'm the most powerful woman on the planet, and human woman, except maybe Olivia, obviously. And then and she's just
And what's her
she's
face?
just a straw.
Sea-folk chick.
Yeah,
And Sharina
is it
too,
Tel'aran'rhiod?
right? Isn't Sharina
Yeah, and
stronger?
Sharina.
Yeah.
Sharina's stronger than her too.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, okay, fine. So the fourth most powerful woman, human, who's not a Forsaken on the planet, being just a siphon in both instances, and especially I hate it with the cleansing because she's a freaking healer. But in any case, I question whether or not, since we have the male Adam and we have confirmation this week based on images from next week, which Rob hasn't seen yet. Never mind.
No, so here's the thing. I'm going to actually, after today, after
Mhm.
this recording and then my
Mhm.
live stream later, I decided for the last 3 episodes, I'm going to actually watch the preview and do a reaction video for it.
All
Oh,
right.
great.
And probably minorly spoil myself, but I actually don't care.
Well, this is something that's literally like 2 frames in it. Do you want me to say it or not?
Go for it. Yeah, it's totally fine.
Okay. We see both bracelets. So we do know that the male Adam
Oh, I
requires 2
still haven't
bracelets.
seen that.
Yeah. It's a drawing. Leandrin has a drawing that she's looking at with Naomi and somebody else. And you see 2 women holding it like Adam style, like Seldam style. And a man's kneeling in front of them wearing the collar. So
Well,
we do have
I'm trying
confirmation that the
to
male Adam needs both.
remember the metaphysics of the book. So when you do a link with a man, you have to have two women with one man. Is that correct?
Yeah. You
So
can never
if a
link
man,
one man,
yeah,
one
if a
woman.
man and a woman link, just them, the man, the evil one can be in charge, and then. Oh no, I actually forget.
I don't
now.
think a man and a woman can link by themselves. I think it always requires 2 women. I think.
No, like just them, the power, not the males,
Right.
the male bracelet thing.
Right, but
Right.
I'm like, I feel like, yeah, then
Well,
I guess the
because
man.
random-
what the Adam is, it's just a forcible link essentially.
Yeah.
But it's still a link. So that's why I was thinking you do with that. I mean, even like in regular linking,
Bracelets
you
same.
have to
Mhm.
have 2 women and 1 man, but I don't remember. I was gonna bring the companion down and I forgot. Here, let's just Google it.
Laura's. I just left mine, and mine's on the stairs downstairs.
Mine
I
is over here, but I actually. Can't
Laura
really
says she
get it.
thinks that the male can lead, but 1 woman and 1 man can link. You might be right. Then I think you're right. Maybe, but the man
Yeah,
has to
I
lead.
think-
So if 2 and 1 link, then the women lead
Yeah,
Mm,
or something, or
mhm.
one of the
yeah,
women
there's
can
something
lead.
like that. And I know with the bracelets in the book, the sad bracelets, 1 woman can use them and control the guy, but it takes a big toll on her, and so you can share the load with the 2 women having 1 bracelet
Oh,
each.
Right.
But then it sort of lessens your control over the guy a bit as well.
right.
So
Because you're
it's-
wrestling the other woman for control as well.
I think you just
Potentially.
have to work in conjunction, but it does lessen your control over the guy just in general on top of that. So
Interesting. Okay. All right. Yeah, and there can't be 2 men and 1 woman. You can always has to be more women than men in a circle. Yep. It's real. Anyway, all I was going to say was that I think that I'm questioning whether or not they are going to add that same metaphysics into Kalendor and say that you have to have 2 women attached to it. And maybe maybe the buffer is if you use Kalendor and the Sarkinen together somehow that they are you can't overuse them. But as soon as you've separated and gone different ways and not linked together or something, like maybe there will be something along those lines. But I just don't know if we're going to need 2 women at the end. And if we don't need 2 women at the end, does that mean Moiraine is not coming back? End of rant.
And I feel like, I mean, this is getting ahead of us a little bit, but the fish fuck hut, no one's taking a drink, right? The fish fuck hut scene really felt like a goodbye. And I know earlier in the season, I was like, we got a lot of Sophie. I feel like we're really like embedding her in the wheel of time. So we're going to see her in the future. But now I'm like, this felt like a goodbye. I'm never going to see you again. And we're both going to die by the end of season 3. That's what it felt like to me.
When I was talking about this in my reaction, I called it like a breakup episode. It felt like so many people were breaking up. So Moiraine and Swan already had a big falling out in season 2, basically. But this felt like the closure to their relationship. Moiraine and Lan were definitely saying goodbye to their friendship and companionship. All right, when they were drinking together. Egwene and Rand were like, Egwene was like moving out to go sleep with the wise ones.
Right.
That felt like the world's biggest breakup. Rand had no idea. He's like leaning in for a kiss. And you just see Egwene being like, yeah, okay, I'll give you a kiss. It almost felt like, had it not felt like a breakup, it would have felt like he was forcing himself upon her for a kiss.
She she has moved on. She moved on so long ago, and they're
exactly.
both just in this relationship out of nostalgia and guilt to the other person, feeling like they need to be right now. I mean, they love each other.
Yeah, I feel like she feels a responsibility to him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, kind of pairing with Layla too, and Maxim and Lala, but like pairing with Layla kind of, because when we see him in the dream and he's like got Fail in the dream, and I know it like wasn't really a breakup scene, but it is sort of like this idea of moving on.
Him finally accepting and moving on,
Yeah.
So,
I mean, because it's at the forge as well. Like,
Right.
he and Layla would be working the forge together. And
and she like basically took her position. Yeah.
in essence, yeah.
And Matt and his mom.
Oh,
But that's kind of like a
Don't get me on
breakup
that.
too, almost. You know,
It is.
It is, yeah.
It is.
It
Ugh,
is kind of.
that was the
It is.
moment where I was like, I managed to not break down into many tears on Dusty Wheel Live. I tried very hard. not
Oh
to.
yeah, you guys were watching that live.
Meg-
weren't you?
Yeah.
Meg was. I was
yes,
not this week.
I
I
was
did last
watching it
week.
live. Yeah.
I heard that there was just like a big pause of silence.
Yeah.
You know, when that happens.
Well, because I actually called it on Dusty Wheel before that, because I think it was the scene where Valda is talking to Bayer, and he's like, you know,
Mhm.
you want me to show you how to catch a witch with real power, or a woman with real power, or something. I'm like, Natty's dead. Like I
Yeah,
said
and he
it
says she
then.
was just a.
Yeah.
I mean,
The first witch was just a plaything.
yeah, you called it then. I called it episodes ago. You remember we had a discussion. This
I
is why I
don't know.
messaged you like. Okay, so you know,
Yes.
you were in the middle of the stream, and you were like, "I've actually watched you say it." You were like, "Oh, Rob just messaged me and said I hate being right," and it was when you were talking about my fame theory,
Right.
Yeah.
and I.
But it was
didn't
about
mean that.
Juliet.
Oh,
It was about Juliet dying.
Oh, nope, totally
And
misread
I was like,
that.
I hate her. I know. I was watching. I'm like, no, she's not realizing what I meant in that moment. And you're also, and it's no offense, but you weren't telling my theory right either.
I was
So I was like, no,
trying.
you were trying. You tried really hard, and you
I
got
almost
you got
I was like,
80%
do I
of it,
call
you know?
in? Do I call in to help change, like, re-steer this back into the right place? That's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. It's okay. I've you know. Anyway,
I am
the
more
thing,
on board with your theory now, though. By the way, I am.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yes.
Do you remember how I talked about when they mentioned Perrin's family, but then didn't put them on screen?
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and I was
You're
like,
like, they're
you've
going
made
to kill somebody else.
they've made a big point of Perrin's family, but then not brought them on screen. And
Mhm.
here we are, Natty and the girls have been kidnapped instead. And I was like, I'm concerned that somehow Valda's going to get hold of them, and that's it, and they're dead. Like, we had this discussion, for episode, when we did our 1 to 3 episode discussion. Like, I'm sure it's in there.
Yeah.
It's 3 hours of content. I'd have to dig through, a lot of time to
Apologies.
find it. But I know we had that discussion. And that's where I'm like, no, see, I said this like 2
And this
recordings
is why
ago.
I do re-listen to our podcast episodes, because I forget half the shit that we say. So
I need to go listen to them again, apparently. So, but yeah, I hated being right about that.
I
If you've watched my
know.
reaction, I was like, I yelled no at the camera
As
a lot.
soon as Dane took her out of the cage, I was like,
Yeah.
but I have to say, so this,
don't
this is just
empathize
a
with
res-
Dane.
I'm not.
Okay, I'm just making
Ew.
sure.
Wow.
No. This is a filmmaking thing. I appreciate. So look, the thing about Game of Thrones was that it was like, brutality for brutality's sake, and and a lot for shock value.
Mhm.
But the brutality against women from the get-go, most of the
For
most
Game of
horrific
Thrones.
things we saw,
Mhm.
yeah, for Game of Thrones,
Yeah.
most of the most horrific things we saw on screen were against women. Not most, not all, but most.
Mhm.
And so having reread Rafe's pilot, remember when we read Rafe's pilot live, and it's got the line of like, every sex scene in this show will be about the pleasuring of women, and I was
Yes.
like, oh, will it now? So but I also think that like Rafe's choice to not show Natty getting tortured
Mhm.
was part of that. It was like, look, this woman is gonna have to, she's gonna die, and we are gonna know it was not pleasant. It was very horrific. He even calls her a plaything, but he
Yeah.
didn't show it, and I'm so grateful. I was kind of holding my breath because I don't do well with that level of violence on
Mhm.
screen, and it's bad enough to think about it, but it's also like, thank you for not showing it, for not giving people pleasure from watching that.
Mhm.
Like, it just, thank you, Rafe and the team, for making that really very smart choice to not show that. We saw
Yeah.
Perrin getting tortured. We've
Mhm.
seen it. Like, we know that he's brutal, but
Well, and then Rob, you guys were talking on Threefold Talk about like, was she burned or not, and it's too dark to tell. And I had said something like, I think it was too dark so that you didn't see it so graphically. Like I think
Right,
that was
yeah.
the reason.
it was pretty.
Yeah.
It was very clear to me.
I could see it better so I use an old television set for my
Mhm.
my main monitor, not my second one, because it's just it's a bigger TV,
Mhm.
bigger screen for me. And they actually, because it's such an old television, it actually doesn't have that,
Yeah, level of brightness.
adaptive level of whatever. So the screen is brighter for me when I'm watching dark TV shows. So I've actually rewatched this episode twice downstairs on my regular television, and I'm like, I can't see what's going on.
Oh,
And
interesting.
I've played with the settings on my TV,
Yeah.
and I was just like, I can't seem to figure it
Yeah.
out. I turned off all the things it says to turn off, and it's still too dark. But on this, I can see it great. So yeah, she was pretty burned.
I'm very
Sadly.
grateful that my my television that I had for many, many, many years, we don't buy TVs very often, we only have one, but I'm very grateful that it continued to dim all fall so that I was able to buy a new one before now. Because this season is, like
It's
our
gorgeous,
new TV is
yeah.
really bright, but it's very, I can see everything. It's gorgeous.
Yeah, most of the visuals are so much better on the TV downstairs, but dark
Yeah.
nighttime scenes, I still can't see very well. So I
Yeah.
need to mess with the settings.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was good. And I'm, for anyone who's holding out hope, I feel like I'm going to crush it now. I did message Julie out on Thursday morning and was just like, I cannot believe that happened. I'm so gutted. And she did, not outrightly and in clear sentences, but she was talking about how it wasn't the redemption she wanted to get, and she was sad to like have things come to an end and such like that. So
But she protected the girls. She did get the
Mhm.
redemption.
Mhm.
She
but no, she wanted the redemption of
With
it.
Matt.
There's a different redemption that I hopefully will get to share at some point that she told me about. And so
Yeah.
working on
Well,
that.
the thing that I thought was interesting that we saw Matt with her in the dream, and we've seen Matt with her in the visions. So I am pretty confident that we will see Juliet again at some point in Matt having some kind of experience of remembering her or coming to terms with that. I think we'll get that. Or are you ready for my loony theory of the week?
I know. This
This
needs
should
to
be
be
a
a
new
new
segment. We need a little
Yeah.
song for my loony theory of the week.
Loony theory of
Matt
the
has
week.
a near-death experience, which we expect. I mean, in the books, he supposedly dies. So, anyway, Matt has a near-death experience, and he connects with Maddie during that.
Okay.
And you get
in the
redemption.
books, when Rand cuts him down, does he administer CPR?
He does.
He does. Okay. I
Very,
couldn't
very
remember.
badly. Please do not follow Rand's version of CPR.
Disclaimer.
Just disclaimer, do not use Rand's version of CPR. You will just bruise a dead body in that case, So.
Okay, can I ask a question that I know has already been answered in the fandom, and I still have never been able to wrap my head around it or remember which one?
Go for it.
To live and die again.
Mhm.
Matt lives and dies again. Is it Ruidian or is it Balefire? Which one
Could
is
be
Matt
both.
officially dying and spoilers forthcoming? Which one is the one that disconnects him from the horn?
Matt gets Balefire?
Yeah.
No, Matt doesn't get
Well,
Balefired.
no. So Matt
Robin.
dies, but then Ravine gets bail fired and undoes Matt dying.
Oh, right.
Both Matt and Avienda, yeah. Yeah, and so which one is the one that disconnects him from the horn?
I want to say it's the one with Ravine.
Now, my logic is it's him being hung.
Mm-hmm.
Because if your heart stops, you're technically dead.
Mm-hmm.
All right?
Yeah, but
And
if
on
your
top
soul
of
is
that-
still attached enough to the body that you can be revived by traditional means, that to me would not sever your ties with the horn. With the other one, he was definitely dead.
He was
had
dead.
been dead a while. And then Rand balefires Ravine and undoes what he did. Which, however,
you're-
if you undid what he did, then
There we go. Yep.
would
Yep. That's it.
Rob is like,
This
ding,
is,
ding, 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 ding,
you,
ding,
you
ding,
get
ding.
where I'm going. This is why I'm thinking it's the hanging. Because the balefire erases the actions of the person who gets balefired, so they actually never took place. Which
Mhm.
means Matt never died then.
and never broke his connection with the horn.
And thus would never have broken its connection on. So it has to be the hanging by the own book's logic of how its devices
how
work.
time works and whatever, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
If it didn't state that balefire, removes a person from the pattern, so the actions taken
then it would
during...
undo his severing of the horn, right?
Mhm.
Of his
Yeah,
connection.
right.
Mhm.
Because it never originally happened, and that's
Control
the-
Z.
Yeah.
Balefire
It's
is
such a
Control Z.
Control-Z.
That needs to be a T-shirt.
Right?
Balefire is
Tell her
Control
to
Z.
get on
It just depends how long you push it for. So.
Yeah. We need to contact Tavern with that. I'm gonna text him right now.
That should be the guy at the table in like the university where he's like just got a drink and there's a sign in front of the table. It's like such and such and such and such. Convince me otherwise. It should be
Yes.
Balefire is just Control Z. Convince me otherwise.
Yes, make a meme. Laura says I would wear that shirt. Me too.
Yeah.
I'm texting
That's good.
Tavern right now to have him make that
Yes.
shirt.
That's
Amazing.
great. That's correct.
So
All right.
yeah, so the whole Matt thing of that. I wonder if show watchers are going to pick up that it's one of the girls that channeled.
I think so. I've seen a couple. Yeah.
I've seen people saying like, "Wait, did we know that from season 1? Did we know that Matt's sisters could channel?" Like, I've seen people online who seem to be show only asking that question, like no, recognizing that it was the girls. And I think it's pretty clear that Natty says it was the girls. I was wondering if we were going to get confirmation of Meg's idea that that Valda has some Terangriel, Megan's Looney theory.
Well, and my other go ahead, maybe keep.
Oh, we're just gonna say because I thought he might say no, it's not you. Like that Natty can't channel, but maybe Natty can.
My other thing, and maybe we need to pull up the episode. So when Alana is getting attacked by the White Cloaks, it seems like some of the arrows pierce her shield.
They come from behind. They're from the other side. They don't go through the shield.
But if you look at the graphics, it like tears a hole through her shield.
Yeah, so she'd been shot. They're like around her in a complete horseshoe shape sort of thing. And I think she has the shield just from like directly behind her. Obviously, she's turned around at that stage, but what was directly behind her? And I think she gets shot from the sides, and it weakens her, and her shield becomes too weak, and the arrows can then pierce it. I think that's what that's what I was picking it. That's how it kind of felt.
Also, we're learning about shield mechanics. Like you can't just put yourself in a bubble. Apparently.
Oh, like on all sides, you mean? Like a 360-degree bubble.
When Leandrin is getting not her head chopped off, her head not chopped off, it's not, they didn't put a bubble around her head. She didn't look like the bubble heads from Harry Potter. It was two shields on the side, a bubble charm. She didn't use the bubble charm. They used two shields. It's like two shields on either side, like parallel. Yeah. It's not around her. And so I was like, Alana, put the damn shield around your whole body. Like, but I don't think you can. Maybe
there's limitations. If you stretch it too far, it becomes weak.
That might make sense. Or if it doubles back on itself, it unravels.
But I feel like she got shot from the sides, and then it just weakened her resolve on the shield.
Yeah. I don't know. It just the graphics looked very. It looked like the arrows were punching through the shield. So my question was, do we have some weird random Terangriel that can? In
their arrows,
right?
Nah, because Valda's not going to just give that to rando White Cloaks anyway.
Well, okay, and then my other question is, where the fuck is Valda after all this?
I know. I said that too. Yeah.
I was like, why is... Because I was waiting for him to be there when Maxim came back and created his little
But he
his
probably
little trail
just
of dead white
scuttled
cloaks.
away with the coward that he is. Because he is.
Yeah.
Which,
he is a coward.
Other question, Valda in the book is a blade master, right?
Yes.
That feels right, yes.
Yeah, because he fights Galad.
Yeah. But granted, his shoulder's been effed up for how many seasons now?
Two seasons.
Well, because he still has a sling,
this is his second
right?
season. Yeah, he does. This is his second season with an effed up shoulder.
I didn't know he was still wearing the sling. I did not see that.
Yeah.
I did see that, but it's not massively obvious.
It's in 303? 302? I'm trying to remember when we first see them. With the sling.
When you first see him, he is there, 203.
It's just hard to watch Love Actually, is all I'm saying.
Well, Love Actually was also 30 years ago or something crazy at this stage.
Don't say that. It was not 30 years ago.
No, it was not 30 years ago.
Okay, thank God. I was about to freak out.
But I just it was hard. Like, we watched it this year and David was like, I can't with him now. Anyway,
he's
so good.
He's a good friend to Colin Frizzle. Okay. So.
Yes, he's a good friend to Colin Frizzle. Yes. Colin Frizzle deserves all the Wisconsin women. Anyway, that's our Love Actually digression for the day.
Yeah, there it is.
Colin Frizzle.
Colin Frizzle.
Yeah. You have to tell us how terrible our British accents are.
Yeah, you're not doing too bad. I've definitely heard this. So, but yeah, the whole stuff. While we're there, I suppose let's talk Alana and Maxim. They are so angry at each other right now. It's mad, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, and kudos, honestly, to Priyanka and Taylor. They are absolutely killing it.
They're killing it, and it's such a beautiful. We talked about this before, like the analogy of losing a third partner
Mhm.
being similar to parents losing a child.
Mhm.
And they're exploring that because the fighting, the not being able to share the grief because it's all your own personal, and like not being able to understand how the other person is grieving because it's not the same way you're grieving, and being angry at them for grieving differently. I mean, it's textbook, and they're portraying it in such a beautiful way. And I love his side is fear and her side is to fight it. And so like him being fearful, I can't watch you go through it. And her statement of "you're not enough."
Oh,
The
man.
double
Which she,
entendre
yeah,
of that.
which she didn't
Yeah.
mean it, I think, in
Yeah,
that.
she did. She meant both, but she protected him by pretending she meant something different. She meant both. He's not enough. He's not enough. Their relationship had a third part that is not there, and he is not enough to fill that hole and to fill that same thing. But then her saying, "I'm here because we need an army, and the two of us are not enough. You are not enough to be the army that I need to be to fight the last battle." It's
And
just
she needs Chiad as another warder, right?
yes, she does. She does. Chiad's just waiting. Chiad is just like, "Hey."
I mean, I would pick Chiad. I would pick Bane as well.
Mhm.
So I would take both.
Wait. Well, while we're on Bane and Chiad, just the moment when they run into town and seeing them run, like
Yeah.
Run next to a
I don't-
horse running, too.
Yeah, and running next to the horse,
Mhm.
and they're running their asses off. They're running super fast, and they're not winded. And like them coming in, and the idea of something about the maidens running is just something that like in the books, it's like I'm like, oh, they're gonna run again, yay! Like I
Mhm.
just love the maidens running. And so
Run, Farder Eyes run!
exactly,
Yes.
and just seeing that, yes, exactly, thank you. But just seeing them actually running, because we
Yeah.
haven't really seen them running that much,
Yeah.
and
No.
I just love them coming in full speed with Fail on her horse.
Yeah.
And then like they truly are my favorite thing from the season. The two of them might just be my very favorite thing from the season, you know. And they're like, "She's coming," or whatever. What do they say when
Is
Fael
it
says
her too or something?
her
is it?
too?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Her too,
Yeah.
and they say it together. And
Mhm.
it's
Yeah, because
just-
parents like, "No, you're not coming," and she's like, "No," and me too.
Yeah.
And he's like, "No," and she goes to pull a knife, and he's like, "No, I got you," and like puts it on one side, and she just swings another knife out, whoop, straight up to his throat,
Yeah.
and they look at each other and go, "Her too,"
yes, it's
you know?
so great.
or whatever.
It's
Like
so
she
great.
comes or something. Like it's
And it
brilliant.
frankly makes the whole like the maidens following her, and like because in the books, you know, she's badass, but she's not that badass. You know, in the beginning, like you know, and so them deciding to follow her is kind of like because they're enjoying her sort of like teasing parent and maiden's
I'll
kissy
be
of it.
honest, she probably was that badass, but our feelings towards her probably made us think she wasn't that badass.
Maybe
Because she
Well,
was
she
always
just was-
very gifted with knives. She was.
yes, she
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
She
She was
just
just
counteracts it
written-
with childishness.
Right.
Yeah,
so,
she was
yeah.
written in a very childish way, and there
Mhm.
was, the whole spanking scene and all that sort of crap.
Oh, God.
They've really, the Battle of the Two Rivers redeems her in everyone's eyes and be like, oh, okay, she's got a head on her shoulders. We can like this woman. And prior to that, I think everyone views her as a spoiled child.
Mhm.
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
And obviously, we're not getting that feel. We have, a fully competent, fully grown, owns who she is woman in the show, and it's made I think a huge
She's-
difference to anyone who has an issue with Fael.
Yes,
So-
she is amazing. I
Mhm.
love her so much. I love her so much in the show. I love her so much.
Can I just
Almost
point out
as much as Bane and Chiad. What?
some of the moments where where Marcus is interacting with Isabella or like the woman who's playing Marino there and stuff like that, when they're trying to get like the camera angles
Oh, my God.
They
I
look-
know.
when they look
She
at
is
each other,
tiny.
it's like,
Mhm.
but it happens with Fael, like when they're looking at each other, the camera's like like a 45-degree.
Didn't
It's
he
not, but
call
like
her
something
a-
wild.
A pocket rocket? And then I thought very dirty things when he said that. So.
Yeah, of course you did.
Megan, that is all you're doing this season, by the way. So Did I show you? I actually side tangent here. Speaking, go back to social media for a second. Did I show you the photo I posted, or did you see the photo I posted on my Instagram stories?
I don't think so. Maybe.
So the photo originally is this behind the scenes one where you've got Ruark and Lan sitting.
Oh,
in
yes, I
chairs.
did see that. And
Yes,
then you
and I posted-
added. Are you going to show the other
Yeah,
one?
so I will. So I posted that on my Instagram story, and I said that's a daddy room right there. So
And then
Yes,
I
I saw that. I
responded
did
to
see
you,
that.
and I was like, yes.
yeah, you responded yes, but then I got a response from Loneliest Guy Shine as well, who was just like, it's spelled Zaddy, you know. So I laughed. I'm like, okay, I'll go fix it. So I then photoshopped Pedro Pascal
Yes.
into
Yes.
That was,
it,
yeah.
in like
Oh my God.
a
That's
very
hilarious.
deep V on his black shirt. But
I
he's
Yeah.
there. I'm
want
pretty sure
him
it's
in
the.
our series so bad.
I'm pretty sure
And
it's
he's
the.
not going to be Val and Luca because we had confirmation.
Okay,
of the
no.
circus.
Stop it. You and I are fighting about this.
What did I miss?
You did miss. You'll see it. You'll see it after our podcast if you go watch next week's.
Oh, okay. This is in the
And
preview.
she
We
and
get
I
one
are
little thing-
disagreeing about this. So don't.
I've been saying no circus.
No.
I've been saying no circus since
Mm-mm.
the beginning of time.
No.
There will not be a circus. There won't be a circus. There's not going to be a circus. But yeah, and we got. You'll see it when you watch the trailer. There's one
Okay.
little
Fair
nod
enough.
to the circus that
Well-
I'm like, that's our circus. That's what we get.
Okay. Well,
Mhm.
I reposted it with Pedro in it, and I wrote, now it's a Zaddy room.
Mhm.
And here's a
Yes.
fun tangent, actually. Bjorn Lanside saw it. He often likes my reels and things that I post. He does. I don't know why, but I'm hoping he does it. I feel like he does like lots of people. Like I don't feel like I'm the only one type thing.
You need to
But he
get
liked
him
it.
on our podcast, and I will literally melt into an aroused puddle on the floor, and I just
No puzzle, because someone has to
Get
put it back
aroused.
together afterwards.
An aroused puzzle, please be our title.
Aroused puzzle
this
needs
cocktail
to
is
be
very
out.
strong. I will say that. Tel'aran'rhiod is a very strong cocktail. I meant to
As it
say
should
puddle,
be. That's appropriate.
But then Zaddy was still in my head, so puddle turned into puzzle.
A daddy puddle or a zaddy puzzle.
I might actually just. I need a moment.
I'm crying.
Well, Bjorn Landberg, if you are listening, this is the kind of reaction that
This is
will
what you do to me.
elicit if you show up.
Well, he reacted to the story with a laughing face, and so I replied because it pops up. You know, when someone reacts to your story, it pops up in your messages, and it's the
Right.
So I replied, "I'm glad you like it." Type thing. Someone said to me, "It should be a Zaddy room," and I was like, "I have to add Pedro in that case." And he just replied with a thumbs up and said, "It's perfect." So
That's awesome.
I'm dead. I'm
That's
dead.
great.
1 degree of separation again.
That's great.
don't know, Bjorn. Oh my God.
I have our Pedro.
Okay, who's Pedro
Sorry?
cast as?
Asmodean. I'm
No,
back on the Asmo
Asmodeus-
train. I've left
Asmodeus is the
Demon Jones
guy in the
behind.
hat. Asmodeus is the guy in the hat that Meg thinks is Julian.
It's Julent.
Oh my God, Rob, you're killing me. I feel like you need to go watch it right now because there's one other thing that we can't talk about that's in next week's trailer drop. But we're not supposed to be talking about next week.
No, we're supposed to talk about.
We are
Sorry,
really
all right.
off the rails again today.
We're off the rails. I also just I need Thursday to be here now. So I watched it. I did end up staying up. I wasn't going to stay up on Thursday to watch it. I was going to wait and watch it with David when he got home from work. And then it was 11 and the kids were getting ready for bed and they weren't really in bed yet. And then it was 11:30 and then it was 11:45 and I was like, I'm just going to stay up. And then, so I was like, I'm going to just watch it. And David does not. He's got to work the next morning. And then he was like, oh, hey, my 9 a.m. just got canceled. So
Perfect.
I need to be working at 9, but not in a meeting. So I don't have to be completely coherent. So he was like, well, maybe I'll stay up. But then our kids don't have a door in their room. So if we watch something downstairs loud, it's loud. And if Kyle's asleep, fine, he can stay asleep. Zach cannot fall asleep with that going on. And I
He
was
is
we can let
David's
Zach
mini-me, just saying.
I know. So I was like, we could let Zach stay up and watch it with us. And David is like, he has school tomorrow. We are not convincing our teenager to stay up and watch a show until 1 a.m. That is not what we're doing. That's bad parenting. But we did discover at the last minute that we can actually hook both of our headphones to the TV. So we watched it both with headphones on, which was amazing. And I didn't know we could do this until we had decided not to. David was in bed and then I texted him and I was like, I figured out how to do the headphones. So then he came down and watched it. So he came down and watched it. And then we were going to watch it with Zach that night. But Zach had homework and other stuff going on. And so Thursday night comes around. David's like, let's just watch the first 5 minutes. And then we watched the entire episode a second time.
How could you ever watch the first 5 minutes?
You can't. But I got David to
Wow.
watch it twice in one day. I was very excited.
that is impressive. So
I watched it 3 times that day.
Nice.
I will. I've just been having it play and repeat. I will watch the preview later. Probably. Actually, probably won't watch it till Monday. Maybe I'll watch it tomorrow morning. I don't know. I've got a live stream later, so. Where were we?
All
We
over
haven't
the
even gotten past the cold
place.
open.
We were all over the
Cold open.
place.
Can we talk about the meeting with Elida and Suwan and what a bitch Elida is?
River trash?
Yeah.
Fuck no.
River trash.
Oh.
And
Now,
then
I will say, small criticism here.
uh-huh.
That felt a bit more like an insult slinging and sort of like bitching session as opposed to the careful weaving of two powerful women who are really, just fighting with their minds type situation. It felt
I
a
feel
little
like
bit more
it's
like
showing it's foreshadowing Elida's view of the Emerald seat and its role.
that.
Because
Right.
you know how later I have to build this palace and all of this
Mhm.
stuff. And like we look at it as this weird, extravagant thing, but then giving us this perspective, like she feels like it's her responsibility to have
It's a symbol of
Yeah.
symbol of the tower.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So
Okay.
Mhm.
I get that. That actually, I think I expected that moment to be a battle of the minds as
Mhm.
opposed to mudslinging, really,
Mhm.
which is kind of what it was more like.
But I see it as a battle of the minds because she is like, how do I disarm this woman? There's no way to disarm this woman who has literally all the power. She's the most powerful woman in the world. And
Right.
Elida has known her since she was a 9-year-old girl who came to the tower dirty. Filthy. Filthy is the word she uses.
Mhm.
And I think Elida is like my only tool against her because last time I didn't go this low. Last time I didn't throw these kind of slings. And my only tool against her is to make her feel like the 9-year-old girl, not like the most powerful woman in the world.
Right.
And I felt like it was absolutely not just slinging for the sake of slinging, but slinging for this very, very specific. And it worked because Swan went off and said, "I want her head."
Mhm.
She
Yeah.
was like, and she
poked the
she
bear.
sat there.
Mhm.
Yeah. And she was very calm and she was very like, she handled herself beautifully in the moment, but then she ran to her friends and said, "I want to kill a lady to lick her." Like, it was like,
That's
she
not
did it.
how
Yeah.
she said it.
Yeah, she did.
I was
In her heart, she
strongly
did.
concerned that no matter what happened with Elida, and also kudos for using Adelaus as bait, that was impressive because at
Oh
first
my
I
God.
was
How
like,
is she using her as bait?
I was watching
to-
Elias's hands. They are shaking a little.
Uh
yeah,
huh.
to
Interesting.
put in the to like make it go to the 13th depository, like that was kudos for that because at first I was just like, hold up, you just used her as that doesn't seem right, and then Veren's like, well no, my sister can do this, it's okay. I'm like,
I know,
oh, it's a
but did
consensual
she use
conversation.
compulsion to have her sister
No,
do this?
I don't think she used. I don't
No.
think she used compulsion. I think she used. Do you remember the weave that Varen uses against the?
Well, it's
after
like not
Dumas Wells?
quite compulsion, right?
Yeah,
It's like
she's like she was like it's very close to it's very close to it's very close to the forbidden weave of compulsion, but she softens them up and then she strikes with a little thing that she does to just like
Right.
convince them of what she wants, and
Mhm.
and Varen has convinced herself that it is not compulsion, so she can do it even though it's a forbidden weave.
she's a black
and-
Aja anyway, so
I was trying to avoid spoilers.
we've already been there.
Spoilers for what? The last book where we talked about like
I did
Gwen
tell
dying.
David to
dying.
let me know if he joined. So okay, all right.
I don't
all
know.
right.
I actually can't see if he's in chat right now.
He's not.
so-
I don't think yet. I told
No,
him. I
for
said, "Tell
some-
me."
It stopped telling me how many people are here now, so
Oh
I
my
actually have
God.
no idea how many people are or aren't watching.
Well, I did. So right after I texted
So-
him the link, I said, "Let me know if you're in chat so we can be careful of spoilers." But anyway, the point is, we don't even know for sure if Aaron in the show is going to be okay. Whatever. Anyway, the point is, I think she is, and she also doesn't she bring tea to the Aes Sedai that she's trying to convince at Dumais Wells? Doesn't she like sit with them and like just say, "Have a cup of tea and calm down," and then when they're relaxed is when she
Mhm.
can strike and use this. And then I'm like, wait, she's
that
feeding
sounds familiar.
Adelaus
Yeah.
tea. She's softening her up before she like uses whatever. I think she is
I
doing.
think
I think she's
Adelaus
doing
is
some
so.
sort of.
I don't know. I feel like Adelaus is so not there that it doesn't matter. She can just like convince her sister to do it anyway.
I think she has to be doing something because I think Adelaus knows that Varen is black, and I think that she's afraid that Adelaus will share that information now that she doesn't.
now that she doesn't have her full
faculties.
wits, yeah.
Uh
Mhm.
huh. Uh huh. Yeah,
I mean,
so I
yeah,
think
that's very
she's
possible.
got to be doing something to her.
I can't remember who it was. I think I was talking to someone in my comment section about what if they were both black and that when they were playing this game together. I don't know. But I didn't see the Adelaide thing at first. At first I was just like, well, that's really cruel that using someone who's had their brain scrambled to, to try and leave clues and such. But then I realized, because of Erin's comment, that Adelaide is in on it. I'm like, okay, that's actually very clever. And I'm down for it. But I was concerned the whole way through that regardless what happened with Elida and Amiko and Joya, I had Jolene stuck in my head and I'm like, it's not Jolene.
Me too. I always do that.
Yeah. I was worried that in Swan's mind, she would see the evidence she needed to think that Elida was black.
So I was talking about this on Dusty Wheel. Like, so she was using the one power as a weapon, which is...
Yes, but
so
they're dark friends.
In the book, they say in that oath that you can use it against dark friends or shadow spawn or whatever. In the show, they said nothing about dark friends or shadow spawn. However, she could probably convince herself in her head that they are a threat to her sisters and whatever, and then therefore still use the one power as weapon against them. But
yeah. I think it's such a small thing that it's basically just semantics.
Yeah.
And I do think that the phrasing that Maureen uses in season 1 is as in defense of her life, not in last defense of her life. I think that the true oaths have say in last defense of her life.
Yes.
But in this, I think in the show, she just says in defense of her life or that of her warder or that of another sister. So I think that, I don't know, I'll have to go back and watch season 1 to see what she says. But I think that there's, I think there's a little bit of, no, it's not 106. It's
106.
It's 102. Doesn't she say it to Egwene? What are the 3 oaths? What does matter?
Well, she actually swears them to Swan in 106. She re-swears all 3 oaths, doesn't she?
No, she
just
not.
swears
She
the
just swears
oaths.
to
She only does her
obey.
4th one.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, because she's not released.
Okay.
She doesn't have to re-swear the 3 because she hasn't been released like the Black Aja Hunters.
Well, you don't know that she's been released, but...
Well...
All right. To staying on task, I am very glad that when Jai Chim came in and did the whole slicey dicey moment, and then Swan turned up and heals Elida, I'm very glad that she's like, I feel like I've misjudged you, sister or daughter.
I know, but I feel like it's not going to soften Elida towards her at all.
Not in the slightest. No, because
not.
she's like, you set
She's
me
like,
up.
you set me up.
Like to get stabbed, or whatever. She'd be like, she'll probably twist in that she knew there was going to be a grey man there or something.
Then she shouldn't have healed her.
I mean, Elida.
She has to though. She's
I
not
know,
a dark
but
friend.
ugh.
When Elida deposes her, she does everything but actually straight up say that she thinks that Swan is Black Aja, but she implies that. And so she could easily twist this and say, you knew that a gray man was going to be there.
Yeah,
she's not going to forgive.
You've allowed a grey man, just use the words, you've allowed a grey man to enter the tower, all right? And I found them when I went to interview 2 black sisters. You're hiding black sisters in the tower, in the 13th depository. And when I got there to interview them, I found a grey man. Like, what are you? But, you are hiding secrets and blah, blah, blah,
Let's
blah.
also
Like,
talk about how
evidence.
she knew how to get in there. Elida knew how to get into the 13th depository, which also leads us to believe that she has been to the 13th depository before, and therefore she got her bracelet from the Finns when she went through the redstone doorframe.
Yeah, I would say the 13th depository is accessible by sitters.
And she was ahead.
And
She was
heads
ahead
of
of her
Ajas.
Raja.
Yeah.
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 I want to point out how we know the head of the Aja. It's not a secret. Or the name for the head of the Aja is not a secret either.
Yeah.
Highest.
The highest. Yeah, highest, and like all that. That's quite a thing.
I was saying that to David. I was like, I felt like in the first few episodes, I was like, oh my God, it's all this stuff from New Spring that we like wanted to know during the reading of the books. Then I was like, here's all the stuff I wanted to know about how the White Tower works that comes to light in New Spring. And so it's really, I'm glad they're putting it in because they are putting so much into it. Yeah.
It makes a big difference.
Yeah.
I was very concerned that Swan would use everything that Elida was doing as justification to basically say she's Black Aja and then falsely accuse her. And I'm like, this is going to lead to her downfall. And I think it will still lead to her downfall anyway.
Yeah.
But
for sure.
Not through her, using bad information, I suppose.
I mean, look, I think I think there's a lot going in. I think they're also, I truly think this is a beautiful setup for Swan's deposing. And I think, not, this sounds terrible because I hate it. I hate it so much and it's so unfair and horrible. Elida is 100% like the tower is not doing what it's supposed to do. We are not showing the strength we need to. The Red Aja isn't showing. We've been training for this our entire lives. Like, what is happening? Why is everybody just like sitting on their laurels when the Dragon Reborn is running around? She's not wrong in this. I mean, she shouldn't be caging him, but she's not wrong in that there is something really important happening. He is going to go mad if we don't tell him to stop channeling so that he doesn't go mad sooner rather than later. We need to save him up for the last battle. So there's all of that. But then we have Moiraine once again, like rubbing Swan's nose in it to say, you had one job and you didn't do it. You have lost control of the tower. People are not behind you. So you are not in the position to be able to get them to do what you want. And I just discovered we have to kneel to him. If you had the tower in place, we could potentially do that, but you didn't. Your job wasn't to cage him. Your job was to get the tower ready.
Well, and
you
this,
don't have the tower
I think,
ready.
also leads to the fact that we are going to see Siuan deposed because I think Elida was going to bring the vote to the hall to cage the Dragon Reborn. Siuan was probably going to support that until Moiraine just told her the White Tower has to kneel to Rand. So Moiraine basically telling her that this is what has to happen has basically put the nail in Siuan's coffin.
And she also said it in episode 1. If that were true, Liandrin, the hall would have no choice but to remove me from the seat at best. She set it up already. And I think, here's my hope that Siuan's going to live. I've been worried that they're going to kill her. I've been worried about this goodbye scene that we saw with Moiraine. I've been saying we're going to see like the final death of their relationship at the end of the season. At this, like, you know, I think Moiraine is going to die, and I think that I've been worried that they wouldn't have Siuan to show Egwene, and I love that mentorship, and I'm hoping that it stays because I love it. But here's the other reason why I really want them to love it. Otherwise, it's going to be really tragic. I think Siuan has lost everything and will have, it's more than just the stilling. I think she will have lost everything because she's like, yep, I deserve to be deposed because I've been hiding the secret for 20 years, because I didn't get the tower ready, because I had him in my hands and didn't keep him, because I'm not strong enough to do this job. It should have been Moiraine. And I want to see her have a win. I want to see her build back up and find out my job was to mentor the person who will be better than me at this.
I hope
and
so.
I want her to get there because I love her. I love Sophie so much.
Here's something that just popped into my head. When she gets deposed in the books, her warder gets killed. And she doesn't seem to have a warder in the show, obviously.
She's bonded to Moiraine.
You say that.
Well, yeah, I'm okay with that theory. I love that idea. But she would have a vague idea of where Moiraine is at all times unless they keep the bond switched off, and also then why have the bond? But digressing.
Because it doesn't exist.
Who else in the show feels like they are Swan's warder and acts accordingly?
Liana.
Liana.
No!
Yes.
No!
Can you imagine if they did that instead?
No, don't do this to me. I will die.
I mean, I hope not.
I can't handle it.
Liana, don't do
But
this to
like
me.
Jennifer has said in interviews, she's like, regardless whether it was true or not, I've always felt that Liana is Swan's warder, and this is why I act accordingly. So when like Liandrin, in episode 1 does a whole like, well, screw it, you've caught me, so here I go. She's just there straight away, like, bosh, no, shield. I will protect Swan. So
I'm literally like tearing up right now just thinking
I
about
can see.
this.
Yeah,
Don't
it would
do
be really
this to
rough,
me.
and I hope it's not the case. But if you're trying to kill a warder, like I suppose Liana would be.
I think I said this 2 weeks ago because Jordan retconned it a little bit in the books because she doesn't feel Aldrich die in the books. She just like Elida walks in and like smashes her up, and then later she's like, oh, now I've had time to feel Aldrich, the loss of Aldrich or whatever, like afterwards. And so
once she's been healed.
Yeah, once she's been healed, it comes back. Right, exactly. And so I think that there is some, I think that he retconned like that, like immediate feeling that supposedly you feel it instantly and it wrecks you. So I have thought that we would have part of her inability to protect herself will be that she feels Moiraine die.
Oh.
and that will also make her falter.
Looney
And-
theory
and-
of
yeah,
the
and
week,
lose.
numero dos.
I don't know. Like now, I feel like just to get you going, maybe I'm going to say in place of Ulrich, Leonie dies at the end of the scene. You know, during the silly.
That breaks my heart.
I
breaks my
need
heart.
more of her serving looks. Lukes.
She serves the Lukes.
Lewks. Lukes.
Luke's.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, she does.
Yeah. I don't know. Like it's going to be rough, whatever happens. I really hope that we keep Sophie. I've actually in my own server seen a lot of discussion around losing Sophie at the end of the season, like Sophie being killed off.
Yeah.
Because like, you know, keeping actresses of like that
Yeah.
caliber and stuff, and now
Yeah.
we've got Shore and so on and so forth. And I'm just like, I mean, I do understand those logistics, but also, you know, impact on the story is pretty significant if Gawain
And it's-
doesn't have
Yeah.
Swan
And
to
her-
teach.
Her place in the story of mentoring Egwene, like, could still show up not every episode. Like, Sophie has never been an 8 episode, you know, part of the show. And
Yeah.
so, like, you know, whether or not it would need to get to that, we'll see. But, yeah. I also love how when she's with Maureen and she just turns into a little girl again.
Yeah.
And she smiles and her dimples show up and it's so beautiful and so sweet. I love them.
Yeah. So let's talk the fish hut then.
Mhm.
You said it wrong.
Sorry, the fish fuck hut. Sorry.
I knew you were going to say that, man. Yeah, I love
Anyway,
that.
I just said that for expediency, not because I don't want to say it. I think it's the perfect name for it. It's just expedient to say the fish hut or the hut, you know.
The hut.
Anyway,
Jabba
talk
the
about the
Hutt.
hut scene.
Love the hut scene. Love it. Love it.
It is great. I love how Moraine, you know, says 2 things and then tells one and stumble. Oh, that's it. You know, like stumbles over the next one and then tries to leave. And Swan's like, "Fuck no, get back here."
Yeah.
You know? Like
Yeah,
you can't do that.
And I love that they had the conversation of what would you have done?
Yes.
Probably the same thing. I mean,
Or
okay,
worse.
'cause
this is
yeah, I think
yeah,
she said
worse.
or worse. Yeah.
Even worse.
Mhm.
Probably
Which I can
worse.
see that because Moraine, I love Moraine, but
She's
Moraine's
ruthless.
cold.
Yes.
Yeah,
She's
when she
ruthless.
needs to be.
She's
Yeah.
ruthless.
Well,
It's why
and she
Lanfear
even
loves
said
her.
that. She was like, I make enemies easily, you know?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I
And
felt
she
that
says,
one
and
time.
Swan says, "You're ruthless. You'd be better at the seat because you're ruthless." It's a really great exchange, but also it's something we never get in the books. This is how people communicate. Oh, look at women in their, however old they're supposed to be, but women in their, we could call them women in their 40s. We could say women in their 50s. We could say women in their 90s, whatever. But look at how women who are mature communicate sometimes. I love it. I'm just like, I think it's really delicious to actually
Yeah.
have them say what they mean, to say, and then Maureen to say like, but we fucked it up in this lifetime.
Yeah.
You know, even if she doesn't tell Swan that she's going to die, Swan recognizes it, because when she says it's too late for this lifetime, you know,
Yeah.
and we'll find each other next time and I'll wait for
Mm.
you.
I know.
Oh my god, that's up there with, you know, I don't know. I'm trying to think of lines from the book now where, you know, 2 people are just like, you know, it doesn't matter. Like, I'm trying to think, you know, like Nynaeve and Lan moments where,
Mhm.
you know, she sends him off to, you know, raise the golden crane or whatever, and you know, silly things where he's just like, you know, here's my mother's ring and you know, whatever. Like, that's up there with those moments. Like,
Yeah.
you know, that was so beautiful. Like, it doesn't matter how many times it takes. You know, I'll just keep finding you until we get it right. You know, and it's not one-sided. Like, Swan's
Mhm.
saying that, and Moraine's like, yeah, okay, well, you know, and she will just keep doing it. I will always wait for you. You
Yeah.
know, and I was
Yeah.
like, God damn.
Yeah.
And such
that is-
optimism when she said it too, you know?
Yeah.
Well, it's the opposite of Ishi's way of thinking, is it? So Ishi's like, I
Mhm.
want to end everything because, you know, it's like, and it's a very grim way of saying it, but obviously we're talking about the dark one. But it's, you know, it's like security services. They're like, we have to get it right every time. Terrorists have to get it right once, you know,
Mhm.
and that's why Ishi's like, well, let's just end everything because we have to stop him every time,
Mm-hmm.
right? The dark one only has to win once.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's the opposite of that. It's just
Mhm.
like, well, it doesn't matter how many times it takes because eventually we'll get it right.
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
so it's
which-
worth doing.
Again,
Yeah.
spoilers leads to the epiphany that Rand has in Veins of Gold. You know,
Yes.
when he hears
Both in
Tam's
Veins of Gold
voice.
and at the last battle. Veins of Gold
Right.
and the last battle.
Mhm.
Yeah. which he had a little, which we foreshadowed in episode 8 of season 1.
Yeah, by the
No,
way, yeah.
even episode 1 of season 1.
Yeah.
I think
When Tam says it, we
yeah.
keep,
Oh, yeah.
we just keep doing the best we can every time we come back or whatever he says,
Yeah.
something like that. I'm going to keep going. I have to
Okay,
go put
go.
my oat milk in the fridge. I'll be right back. Sorry, I just had it delivered. Bye.
That's fine. I love that. All right. She's muted. That's fine. So, no, it is a great scene, and I do think that's the last time we see them together in this season. But
or ever.
it is. I mean, potentially ever. It depends what they do with Moiraine's character. But I've seen the discussion that Swan is going to be, kicked out, so to speak, and I just don't. I don't want to sit on that train. So
I don't want to, but that
I can
scene
see why.
made it very hard to think otherwise.
Yeah, I just think it was, just their goodbye for the two of them. That's what I think
so.
it was.
Do we want to talk about Elida and Alviarin's conversations?
Elida and Alviarin's conversations.
So they're in the hallway. Elida
again. I'm sorry. Y'all want to keep secrets? Stop talking in the middle of the fucking corridor. It's like the CIA having meetings in the middle of, the town square or something. Be like, do you know what it's like? It's like adding a journalist to your text chat conversation. That's what it's like.
You're totally right.
That's exactly what it is. All right? They're having secret meetings. They're making plans about events to, win battles, And there's someone peering over the shoulder hearing all they're saying. And I'm just like, stop doing it in public.
Yep.
I'm going to have to repeat that for Jen.
Yeah,
right now.
Jen needs to hear that. So we were talking
what
about
do I need? Okay.
Elida and Alviarin talking in the hallway, and then Rob made a very real-world connection with that.
Yes. I was like, you need to stop talking in the damn corridors, okay? Because people are just going to overhear you. It's ridiculous. And I was like, you don't see the CIA having meetings in the public square, or better yet, you know what it's really like? It's like adding a fucking journalist to your text chat, isn't it? So
Basically. Yes. Excellent real word connection. I thought you were going to say that Alviarin was Elon Musk.
Well,
I mean,
that could be true.
I'm also not against that comparison.
That's hilarious.
Possible.
Yes.
So, yes.
I know, but everybody's just yammering in the tower.
Yeah, they're just talking in the corridors. Like, what?
I'm like, the Accepted literally goes running to Varen's rooms where Liana and Swan are hanging out. I'm like, what about eyes and ears, people? The servants have tongues. Come on.
So we need to cut out all their tongues, is what you're saying.
Exactly. I'm just saying people are not being very stealthy.
They are not stealthy at all.
No.
But I do love how Alviarin plays the conversation. She's just like, we follow no one except logic and reason.
Right, and logic has been on Swan's side, was what she said.
Has often been on Mother's side. Yeah.
It's a great non-expositional understanding of the white.
Mm-hmm.
We really haven't spent much time with any white yet at this point. We don't really know them. We know brown and knowledge.
What do we know? The brown and knowledge, the blue are causes, which is only vaguely, you could probably guess. If you're like, what does blue do? You could probably guess because of Moiraine.
Yeah, and she keeps saying, I devoted my life. I devoted my life. I devoted my life.
So you could probably make an educated guess that. And obviously the green are battle
and yellows and healers. Yeah.
Yeah, yellows
and
and healers.
And then we
the whites
hear Joya explain the gray to Nynaeve and Elaine. Mm-hmm.
So this is finally the whites getting, their moment.
When does Joya explain it to? She
during
says
the interrogation.
Yeah, when Nynaeve and Elaine are interrogating her, and she says, I can read people because that's required to negotiate, and I know a killer when I see one.
That's right. You're right. So we basically had
which is bullshit because I don't actually see in that moment how she possibly looks like a killer at all.
I think there was a bit of manipulation there, for sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's why I'm calling bullshit on it, because I'm like, you're saying that to Mrs. I want to heal the world? But yeah, so we've had all 7 Ajahs explained in theory now. Or 8 if you want to include the black.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. It's great. Yeah. It's really cool. You're right.
We
that's a really, I didn't even think about that. We had the gray. So it's like now we're kind of getting a little more of that. And it's also, when not only are we getting that, but we're also seeing it with Naomi, even though she's black. We're seeing her like as the brown be the
The
like
researcher.
she's digging through the book. She's the researcher. And we hear Maureen say, "This is what I've dedicated my life to." We hear Swan say something to the same, "I wish we hadn't walked into Guitara's study, because we like this became our life focus." And then we hear Lana talking about not winning with politics, but we need an army.
Yeah.
Like we're really getting the Ajas like exemplified for us over and over again this season, which
in simple moments that don't overwhelm the watcher.
Yeah.
Just pop in and be like, actually, if you thought about it, could you name what all 7 Ajas do? And you'd be like, well, you could name some straight off the bat because we've seen them a lot. And be like, and what did the Greys do? Do you remember what Joya said to so-and-so in the dungeon? You'd be like, oh shit, yeah, they mediate, don't they?
Yeah.
And like, you could, with a small coaxing, probably get an answer for all 7 out of a show watcher, which I
the scene that they didn't have to write was the novices going to class and learning. I'm just mean like this would be a class that you took when you were a novice, so of like what the Ajas stand for. So it's great. It's really fun.
It's really
well done.
Okay, so things we haven't talked about yet.
Windfinders.
Yes.
Windfinders. And the whole boat stuff.
And the whole leading to Nynaeve potentially breaking her block.
Yeah. By getting some information from them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's and her like I clapped when she threw up. I sorry,
it's
but
very
like
true to her character. Yes.
But here's something that I like this is why anybody who's a book clerk and says that like they don't know the story or they don't care about the story, makes me want to punch things because in the books, Nynaeve gets sick in every boat ride. It's just a joke. It's a gag. It's Robert Jordan is like, haha, she gets sick on boats. He never says it's because she won't give up control. He never says it's because she's rigid. And the first thing that happens is the sail mistress looks at her and goes, "You're seasick. You're from the mountains. You're acting like your trees or your legs are rooted to the ground. Instead, do this." And it is the epitome of her character. It is Nynaeve's character in a nutshell. This woman meets her for 2 seconds, figures out her character, and explains why she gets seasick because that's who she is. Jordan never made that connection.
Mm-hmm.
No.
And it's a brilliant fucking. I mean, he may have implied it or meant it, but he never.
He may have thought, oh, like if I do this, and someone's going to pick it up, and that's
maybe.
fine.
Maybe, but it's absolutely never like Elaine could have easily said, well, maybe if you gave up control, you wouldn't be so seasick. And nobody says that in the books.
Right.
And it is brilliant and so smart and so intuitive and so clever. And just, again, like a testament to how well this team knows these characters.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And if you're really observant, you'll pick up, hey, maybe, like you're clearly someone who like doesn't like to give up control. If they're really, if they're perceptive, they'll be like, oh, maybe that's why she has a block.
Yeah.
And if they're not perceptive, when they eventually get to the stage where her block is broken, then they'll be like, oh shit, I remember that moment. Or they'll do a rewatch and they'll be like, oh, this is the hint for it. And then appreciate the show even more as a result. Like we do on rereads.
Well, and I don't want to say book cloaky question, but like, so it's the sail mistress that's talking to this, talking about all of this with her. The sail mistress doesn't channel.
That sounds like she can channel. Well, in the books they don't, but they might.
Well, but again, I want to say that I think it is these two in the book that the sail mistress and the windfinder are sisters.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And so I think that the sail mistress in this case does have a deeper understanding of how the channeling works because they are sisters. So I was just wondering what you guys kind of thought about that.
I think every sail mistress would.
Yeah, I would agree with that, Jen. Yeah, I don't think that she's looking at Nynaeve being like, you have a block, it's because you can't give up control. I think she's literally just looking at someone from the mountains and realizing that and saying the way you stand is extremely rigid, it's causing you to be seasick. Usually, and through her experience, she's like, usually someone who behaves like that is someone who doesn't give up control. I think she's just perceptive as a person.
And I
as
think,
opposed to like it's the channeling aspect.
Yeah, and she says you can't touch the source, and because I think also like I think Elaine is clearly watching the weaves. Like Elaine is like looking around at the weaves and seeing what they're doing, and Nynaeve is probably going like, "What am I supposed to be looking at?" Because she can't see it right now, and so she's immediately like, "You can't touch the source," and she's like, "But you're an Aes Sedai," and so there's a moment of like her trying to figure out what that means and why, and then Nynaeve is like, "Sometimes." Which also, like, Again, that's part of why, like, they're like, you can't go around with rings and pretend your Aes Sedai because you can't touch the source. Like, no one's going to think you're actually Aes Sedai.
Yeah.
But it's a great moment, and it's also they're learning about each other. It's a really great, and I love Elaine drops in that little moment of at the tower. They say that would
that your Seafolk are so weak they could never become full sisters.
Yeah.
which is, and I love that they just drop that in. Whether it ever pays off, or we hear any more about it later, it is a part of the White Tower culture that I love in the books, which is like we didn't want to,
So we send our weakest channelers. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the easiest and fastest way in a sentence to eliminate all of that chaos, where it's like we actually hide our powerful channelers and send you weak ones. Whether they do or don't, it's literally a case of like, you just assume that what channelers we do have are way too weak to matter. It literally takes all that exposition about Seafolk sisters and blah 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 and condenses it to a single line in perfection. Like it just covers that straight off the bat. So it was well delivered. I did like it.
And I want to say, and I keep saying this, I need the full soundtrack from Lorne Balfe because I love the Seafolk theme, and the music for that is just so beautiful. And we don't have it yet, and I want it.
I'm sure the albums will come and such.
I'm sure.
Don't worry.
Yes.
Yeah. But the channeling of the Seafolk,
it's gorgeous.
Being so evocative of the Aurora Borealis is perfection, because they're manipulating weather, and what better way to show weaves of weather than to replicate the Northern Lights is just
magnetic field, and I know it's great.
Yeah,
it's great.
So good.
Well, we got some like amazing. Also, to see that right after we saw Maureen with the Sarkinen and her amazing
which
weaves
does
that then
look
go
like almost magnetic fields when she's channeling. It really does.
It does. Yeah.
That
was, oh my god, the damage she did with that, like digging up the earth, was like crazy. So
David was like, "What does that symbol mean?" And I'm like, "Nothing. It's nothing." She just.
I was looking. I'm like, is it? No, it's just like waves. It's
like,
like magnetic waves. Yeah. Okay. That's cool. But yeah, the Seafolk stuff was really great. I love how they still hadn't realized that Min had snuck on, and Matt realized it, and then they all became friends. And it wasn't until that moment that I realized none of them had actually met.
Officially,
officially. Like,
well, Elaine had never met her, and Nynaeve just recognized her.
Yeah, and Nynaeve recognized her from the bar
because they never actually had a experience at the bar. Nynaeve just saw her looking at them. Min just looked at them and talked to Moiraine.
Probably saw the boys buying drinks or whatever. Yeah, exactly.
And I also love that. I also love that Elaine is like, it's just we got a little bit of entitled princess when she was like, "Aren't you a servant?"
I didn't pick up on that, but you're right.
I'm like, girl, you're supposed to be first sisters with her someday, so like, Oh my god, I didn't even think about that at the moment, though. That's Elaine and Min's first meeting, like Elaine and Min.
Yeah.
I didn't. I mean, I was like, cool.
She'd seen her
Are they
as a
gonna
servant,
hook up later this season?
No.
No, I don't see that happening. She was dreaming of Avienda.
Yeah.
So.
Oh my god, I love that so much. I love that so much.
I'm intrigued how that dynamic might work out if they do all three girls and Rand.
People have been talking about it a bit too.
Yeah.
They have to.
I'm just curious how the dynamic will work out. But yeah, like their meeting was.
They don't have to do anything. What are you talking about? Rafe has already said he's going to get all three. And I don't want to say it like that. I don't like saying he's going to get all three. I don't want to say it like that.
I know. You don't.
I knew
like
what
that.
you meant.
Yes,
you're okay. Don't worry. That is not our soundbite for this week.
No. Yeah. But I do. I really liked that scene, and I like them kind of officially meeting, and then Nynaeve asking Matt, "Can we trust her?"
Mm-hmm. And Matt saying
that was beautiful, and Matt saying yes, and her face when he said yes, and his face when it's just
the relief. He's just like, I can actually trust her, and she's like, oh shit, he does actually trust me still, or like even if he doesn't trust me. He's still vouching for me because I'm sure that friendship meant a lot to them. Like they betrayed each other, well, Matt not so much to Min, but there was a lot of trust and companionship there. They went through, albeit, different ways of being trapped and captured by Leandrin. They both went through that together. They had different ways of escaping, or like Matt, it was not fun for either of them. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, like they've gone through the fights and they still found out actually no, what
Yeah.
they went through and the friendship they formed was
Yeah.
actually stronger than all the bullshit that came with that. And it was great moment for them, because I remember looking at that and being like, say yes, do it, dude. And I was just like, yes, good man.
Yeah.
You have to, and not
Yeah.
because it's Min, but because like what they've been through,
Yes.
you have to. She understands his anger, and he needs to understand her position.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
recognize that she still chose him in the
Yeah.
end, even if she didn't choose him initially. So
Yeah.
it was very good.
I can't wait to get to Tenchiko. I can't wait for that.
And
Oh,
see the
this is another
sitcom
thing.
unfold. Yes.
Yes, yeah. Three's Company. Anyway, and I also think here's something else that I noticed on second watch, or maybe when I was just watching clips from it. Actually, now that I think about it, sometimes in the books we don't know where timeline is. Like, is what's happening? Going from chapter 35 to chapter 36, and you switch from Perrin to Tenchiko. Like, is this happening at the same time? Obviously, let's not talk about Winter's Heart when it all takes place over one day. Anyway, so I just
It's
said
a
let's talk
better
about that. And I
experience of reading. Okay,
triggered
Mhm.
myself here, but
I have told
so-
you my thing about what the slog is actually meant to represent, right?
no.
Oh, okay. So, what's happening during the books of the slog is the Dark One has reached out and stopped the world and has frozen everything, and not just like physically,
Mhm.
as in like everything is freezing to death, but like our characters are going nowhere. They're stuck in place. The story is going nowhere. It's
Yeah.
stuck in place, and it's
Yeah.
such a meta experience because the reader, by doing one book from one set of characters and basically the exact same week for the other characters in
Mhm.
the next book, are also experiencing a lack of movement.
Okay.
We're also stuck in place
You
as
have said
readers.
this.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I should listen to our
Yeah.
podcasts more often. You have said this, but you just said it in a way that like stuck with me better. Okay, great.
Okay.
Great.
Yeah. It's meant to like and I don't know if it was intentional. I hope it was, but he wrote the books in a way to
Yeah.
make us feel as frustrated as the characters because we're all frozen in place by the Dark One.
Mhm.
Love it.
So
Love it.
yeah.
Love it. Love it. Love it.
Yeah.
So all I was
Yeah.
going to say was that I have I get frustrated when filmmakers make it full moon just for the sake of making full moon because it's like dramatic and pretty when it was like full moon 2 days ago, or when it was like, because I'm like, it's science, people. The moon goes through a 28-day cycle and we all see it all the time. Like, you can't just make it whatever you want it to make it, or put a full moon wherever you want in the sky, because you don't get that. So sorry, Megan, are you laughing at me? No. Okay. Anyway, you, whatever, you and your spreadsheets. I can get into my science for a second. But Alana says it's a full moon. I'm going to create cover so that we have
Mhm.
darkness. It's a full moon on the ship. Same night.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah. When they're on the ship, it's a
yeah.
full moon in the sky. And
I
I'm
hadn't
like,
picked up on that.
it is that same time. It's a full moon. Okay. That's cute. And I'm like,
Nerd.
here's how I remembered it was on the ship, because when they're on the ship and they said we've been on the ship for 2 weeks,
Mhm.
and the first shot we see the full moon, I'm like, oh, they've been on the ship since new moon. Like, it was in my head. I'm like, okay, so like hopefully it'll, whatever. Anyway.
So, okay. So, if it's been 2 weeks,
Uh-huh.
has Perrin been sitting on not rescuing the Cothans for 2 weeks?
Probably.
No, not necessarily, because we don't know when it was that he got there, but possibly yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He might not have been there. Like, he might not have turned up.
And then he was just spurred by the fact that Fail and the maidens were like, the reinforcements are coming. We need, if we're ever
we
going to
need
do
to
it, it
now or
has to
never.
be now. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Which then leads to Perrin and Fail have built up more of a relationship than we've seen
Yes.
over these 2 weeks.
Possibly, but we still don't know. I mean, we don't know exactly when he got there compared
Right.
to when Nynaeve and Elaine.
Yeah, he could have, like, it could have been
Yeah.
2 or 3 days going through the ways.
Yeah.
It could have
Mhm.
taken him. I absolutely could have taken him 2 or 3 days to make it from the ways,
Mhm.
from the gateway
To the two rivers.
To
yeah.
the two
Mhm.
rivers.
to
Or
the 2
Emma's
rivers.
Field.
We did
Yeah.
see them.
Mhm.
Emma's
Yeah.
Field. We did see them walking over a mountain. You
Yeah.
know, when I believe it's Chiad being like, "I like this place,"
Mhm.
and he's just like, "We're simple farmers." Or when the Manetheren speech came up, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
she's like, "Whatever, dude. I've seen you sling sing an axe around." So
If you say it.
yeah,
If
if
you
you
say
say so, yeah, if you say it, yeah, exactly. I would say it. She is, yeah. Mad crush on Beta Gin, apparently. So, yeah. What was I saying with that? Yeah, so it absolutely could have been there like maybe a week tops, by this stage. Or even, who knows. But, yeah, I think they've had time to develop something. They clearly, when they were fighting, they were clearly worried about each other.
Yeah.
So there's clearly an attraction.
Yeah.
Which I think we first saw in that conversation when it's just like, oh, that's what my friend calls his horse.
And him saying like, I don't want you to fight. And her, I mean, it's a really nice way of like getting that kind of gross machismo element in the books in just one little one line, and then she's like, bullshit, and then she does, and it's great.
Yeah,
it's
like
great.
he's trying to be protective, not because like I'm macho and man. He's just like, no, I just
don't want
that's
you
who
hurt.
I am type thing.
Yeah.
Don't want you hurt. And then she like shows she can defend herself. The maidens say she comes, and he's just like, all right, fine.
And her like whipping those guys around like Avienda with her legs and like fighting like a woman using her body weight against them. It just,
I'm getting serious Chafail vibes from all of this. I am.
So maybe Bane doesn't die. Maybe she leaves Chiad to follow Fail and be Chafail. So
oh, what?
That's not going to happen.
Looney theory number 3 on this podcast today.
We're back
Just
to
before
English now.
before Bane dies, she and Loyal need to get it. That's all I'm saying.
Can you just imagine?
Looney theory number 4.
We need
She's
to see
so into him.
Bane
She's
and
so
Loyal
into
just
him.
make it out in a corner at some
But
point.
he is
Bane was
promised
like,
to
I have-
Eldrith.
No, there's no Eldrith in this show.
No Eldrith yet.
There's
Wait,
no
am I
Eldrith in
saying
this
that
show.
right?
Period.
Is that right?
Yes. Yeah. That's right.
Edith.
Is Eldrith? Edith. Wait.
Edith.
No.
Eldrith. Edith.
Eldrith?
Eldrith.
Well, Eldrin is Bode's sister that we couldn't think of her name last week. Bode and Eldrin. I think it's Eldrith. No, it's Aerith.
Aerith. Yes.
Yes.
Apologies,
That
Builder.
took way too long.
Apologies, Builder, for forgetting the name of your betrothed with her ears. Oh, I'm so vulgar.
Oh, you are very vulgar. Yes.
They're
Speaking
so
of
pretty.
No, Loyal and Bane
Yeah.
gonna get it. Loyal and Bane gonna get it.
And then can you imagine if like Aerith and Bane like meet each other and be like, I have kissed her. I stroked those ears, and she's like,
I
"You
love
did
how
what
we've
to
got
my husband?"
fanfic going on now. Oh my god.
Loyal fanfic.
And
Oh,
that is our
I love
soundbite
it.
for this week. Oh god! All right, so I think there's basically 2 things left to talk about: Cold Rock's hold,
Yes.
Mhm.
and then the dream spying. I fucking love Cold Rock's hold.
It
Did
was
you
my head canon to a T.
Oh, okay, it was not exactly mine. I was envisioning like a some kind of like narrow gorge almost.
Well,
but
it
this I was
was.
like, no, but not in a mountain of rocks. Literally
Okay.
like in a flat
More like a-
landscape,
Yep.
like a crevice,
down.
Okay.
but like so it goes down under the ground as opposed to
Gotcha.
above.
Mhm.
But I do remember it saying like a giant rock and then everything being around it. So this, apps. I mean, not that I would have cared, to be honest, because I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, it's not exactly what I imagined. I don't actually give a shit.
Same.
But it was stunning, and I loved it.
Yeah.
2 things I really loved. When they're walking in, Avienda is hooting with everyone else, being like,
Yeah.
woo, but they're there and they're rattling things.
Yes.
And the first thing I was like, ramen rattle.
Mhm.
I was like, no one's going to know what that means. But I don't care. I said it and I'm keeping it in.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, it was so good. They're all rattling things and hooting and stuff. And I was like,
Yeah.
I fucking love this.
It was so great.
It's so good. Yeah.
Did you guys on Threefold Talk count how many Aiel you could see as they were coming in? Did you do that or not?
No.
I mean,
Why?
I figured you would, but like, because there were like a lot of hidden Aiel in the shot as you were like coming in to Cold Rock's
I mean,
Hold.
we've
Yeah.
been counting Aiel in shots since season 1. The rest of you just haven't been able to see them. So, there's been Aiel around for, what we on, episode 5
They're in
now? There's
every
been
shot.
Aiel-
What are you talking about?
There's
Yes.
there's been Aiel around for 21 hours of footage so far. So, like it's-
Aiel equal gray men. What? Sorry.
Oh my god, can you imagine if Gideon took an Aiel and made them a grey man? Like, I don't think even
Right.
other grey men would
No,
see
you
them,
wouldn't even
you
see
know?
them.
Right?
No.
No. I loved them sitting. I love Avienda instructing him, and the line straight out of the book of like, it is polite among in Aiel culture to like speak to the people on either side of you when you're at the table, unless of course you're instructing. It just was
Yeah, you have
delicious.
to, like,
Oh,
you're
can I
forced to
bring up
instruct
something with
someone.
this right now?
Yeah, of
So
course.
my show watcher only
No,
friend.
no, just
no,
because
you
you're a
can't. You
host.
can't.
No,
Just no.
only Jen and I as hosts can bring up something. You must
Because
be
I'm
here
the
to
third
laugh
wheel.
and get
That's right.
drunk. That's
That's
all.
right.
Yeah, of course. No, bring it. Go for it. You know.
So my show watcher only friend was asking. So she said, "Why are Bear and Melaine so kind to Egwene and wanting to like teach her their ways? Because the Aiel feel like they don't want to accept anyone outside of the Aiel." And I was like, I think you're thinking that because of how Avienda is acting to Rand.
Right.
And then I said, there could be reasons for that. And then I left it at that.
Wow. Way to,
Right.
you know, send them down a direction. But okay, yeah.
Well, I mean, she's saying that in part because of Avienda, but Couladin certainly.
Well,
was like,
and I said
he's an
that too. I was
outsider.
like, yeah. And the
Mhm.
Shido are like a special case as well.
Yeah. But I
Yeah.
mean, Ruok's really, you know, he has no issue with, you know, Lan walking around with a sword, Moraine,
Right.
you know, none of it. He's just like,
Right.
whatever's, you know, like, hey, this is fun. It's fine.
Yeah. So I feel
So-
like the only people that are like anti-Wetlander at this point are the Shido and Avienda. And Avienda is obviously anti-Wetlander because of what she saw in the rings.
I think it's very clear that she's not anti-Wetlander. I think she's
Anti-Rand.
anti-Rand.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I do remember a moment where she was very pro-Wetlander. You know,
Yeah, she is pro
in
Wetlander.
episode 1,
Mhm.
she was very pro-Wetlander.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, also, wait, I've been meaning to bring this up since episode 1, and I'm just going to bring it up really quickly because I was going to say she's so pro Wetlander that she's literally in Elaine's dream standing on the deck of a boat. And then I
Mhm.
was like, nobody talked about the fact that the 3 Aiel came back from Falm on a boat. And Elaine says you slept on deck the whole time. But
Oh shit! Yeah,
like,
no one's talked about this. Yeah,
they're just like boats. And I'm like, you're just like boats? Like, I think it's fine. I think
I
it's
mean,
fine.
there is a scene with Bane and Shead and Perrin and Loyal where they're walking next to a stream, and there's no awkwardness whatsoever. They're just walking along. So
Exactly.
yeah,
And I
maybe
think that's fine.
yeah,
I think that's fine.
I think they've kind of eliminated the like, oh my god, that's a puddle.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
wow, I've never
Well,
seen
they
a puddle
did
in my
talk
life.
about
It's
it
kind
in
of- it's
season
kind of like-
2 when they were coming up on Falm and they were seeing the ocean and they said all
Yeah.
this water. Like, I mean,
Yeah,
they
but
have
they've
talked about
adjusted.
it. Yeah.
But they're not
Yeah.
making them like cats and cucumbers, you know. So
Yeah.
I think that's fine.
It's
Mhm.
Yeah.
cucumbers. I keep meaning to do that to my cat. Do you know what
I
that
don't
is,
know,
Meg?
wait, no, I don't. I'm clearly not a cat person.
so- wait, you're not a cat person?
No,
No, she's not.
I'm a dog
Oh.
person.
Wait a minute, you had a cat. You had a cat before you had a dog.
I did as a child, but now I'm a dog person.
I loved your cat. No, your cat was
Wow.
lady was mom's
she
cat,
was a
not
bitch.
yours.
She was.
Well, yeah,
Nice.
because you chased
All right.
her under the bed with big foam swords, honey.
Spoiler warning, not all cats are dickheads, just like not all dogs are lovable.
Exactly. Exactly.
Anyway,
Cats and cucumbers, just Google it.
Yeah, honestly, yeah, do Google it. But the TLDR, yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Is that if you place a cucumber next to a cat, and obviously the cat doesn't see you do this initially, when the cat then realizes the cucumber is there, it freaks out and just like, you know, just goes, "Ah!" just like jumps away.
It will
and
jump
leaves,
straight up
you know.
into the air.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
Google it.
I haven't.
I
think
and
it's-
folks, if you're listening and you don't know what this is, Google cats and cucumbers,
Yeah.
and you will find the most ridiculous videos, and they are side-splittingly hilarious. But it's also
That's the name
this is
of our
It's kind of
episode.
cruel.
It's
It seems a little
cats
mean,
and
and I have
cats and cucumbers. Wait. So in this episode, who's the cat and what is the
Who's the
cucumber?
I
cucumber.
am the
Oh,
cat.
Actually,
No, not us. Not us in the actual
Tel'aran'rhiod. Tel'aran'rhiod is actually cats and cucumbers. Kind of Tel'aran'rhiod. Like Egwene is the cat, and Lanfear is the cucumber. Yes, because Egwene's like hi, and she's like in her face in that instant. Boom, she's right here. Cats and cucumbers. Come on, I'm not wrong.
I need to send this to the innkeeper after we set it out. Landfair's a cucumber.
I'm not wrong.
He's not going to be... I don't know how he's going to feel about that. But yes, cats and cucumbers, that's the name of this. Fuck me, we come up with some weird titles for our podcast.
Yes, we do.
Laura, we love you too. Thank you. Laura's just put in chat, I love you guys. But yeah, cat cucumber videos are fucking brilliant. Do look them
Mom
up,
says
seriously.
they're hilarious.
I
Yeah,
did
hilarious.
not know this was a thing.
I do feel a little bad because I feel like people are terrorizing their pets.
It's true. It's
But
true.
it's, you know,
I know. I like to watch them, but we have not done it to our cat for that reason. We're like, we don't want to terrorize her.
yeah, I feel like in the last.
I love the cheese videos with babies. When they throw the
What?
American cheese slices on babies' faces.
Oh, on a baby's.
Nope, haven't seen that.
I will send it to you later.
Okay, so you know the
Next
the
week's episode.
single slices of cheese that are wrapped in plastic.
Yeah.
Next
You
week's
unpeel
episode.
it and then throw it at the baby's face, so it just goes like that. You know, the reaction of the babies is priceless.
Okay.
Why has that made you laugh so much, Meg? Because I actually slapped my own face. We're just breaking each other. What is going on this episode, man?
My face hurts laughing so hard.
I can't even blame it on the cocktail because we're all doing it. Okay.
Okay.
Uh,
All right, everyone breathe.
So, do you have a really serious topic to like bring the mood back
No.
down again?
Yes.
You know.
Yes.
I
Well, we
was gonna
can't talk
Lanfear
about
is a
cats.
bitch. That's all it is. Lanfear is a fucking ass bitch.
Oh my
Whoa,
god!
Megan! I'm gonna have to bleep
Meg
that.
just
That'll
dropped
actually
the
get us in trouble on
C word.
things.
You do have to bleep that one. Mhm.
She is though.
Okay.
I'm so mad at her, and it was so hard to be on the live stream with Matt Hatch, watching
And not
that,
swear and call her a
that
bitch.
thing happen, and I was just so upset. I was so
And you
upset.
kept
I
your,
mean,
did you keep
you
your
knew it
language?
was
You kept
coming
your
though,
language.
I did. I told Matt
Appropriate.
afterwards, I'm like, you need to know how much you need to appreciate my holding back because I was so upset by all of the things that she just did to Egwene.
She's a lot.
I'm gonna put in like 12 bleeps there, by the way. So
Yes, yes,
I
But,
told
you know-
Matt. Beep, 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 you know.
yes. You just bleep it all. It's even better that way, actually.
God.
We okay, so let's cut to Tel'aran'rhiod. First of all, it's great. I love seeing. Oh, and Lanfear just like jumping around wherever she wants. Like I love when she travels in episode 1 when she's down on the street and then suddenly she's like in the room with
Mhm.
Maureen. Love that. Love it. But then I also love her doing it in Tel'aran'rhiod and just like appearing. Like when she's standing by Rand and she's like, "I've seen you here," and then suddenly she's sitting on the rocks like straightening her skirt. It's so amazing. It's so
Yes.
fantastic. Not to mention her like creeping up on Egwene and just suddenly being there. Yeah, she's pretty bad though. And but I love seeing it so that later we won't have to see Egwene disintegrate and then come up. We'll just be able to see her pop to somewhere else in frame, and we'll know that that's her just manipulating it. And it's a great shortcut to show us Lanfear doing it now, and when Egwene can do it, we're showing that she's got that level of control. It's going to be
Yeah.
great.
I agree.
It's going to be great. I'm okay with no stone ring, by the way.
Yeah.
I still
I mean-
think I think what's gonna happen is Julian, not Asmodean.
What forfeit are you gonna do when I'm right?
Oh,
I put this
I'll
out there
take
on
a
Blue
shot
Sky.
of
I'm
your
like,
choice. I will take you can mix whatever you want that's behind me and I'll drink it.
oh, it's gonna be a messy WhatCon.
Okay. So what's gonna be your forfeit?
You can name it because I ain't gonna have to do it.
So can I make a shot of my choice and you drink it?
Sure, if you want to be that way
Okay.
of the thing, go for it.
Let's do it. Yes. So at
All right.
WatCon, whoever's right and whoever's wrong has to take a shot or drink of whatever of whoever's choice. That is the
Meg's
bet.
gonna regret
and
this.
I'm not in on this. I'm
No,
just putting that
'cause
out
this
there.
is
No,
our
I
fight.
don't have a dog in this pony.
But
This
Meg's
is the
gonna regret
twins'
this. But
fight.
Anyway,
That's
yeah,
right.
this is yeah. For anyone who's not familiar, yeah, we are twins
And
apparently.
and
so.
by WatCon, you'll both be old enough to make this decision wisely.
oh wait, yeah.
Our
'cause-
next episode is going to
how-
be my last day of 39.
Oh really?
Yes.
Wait, oh. I forget that we're the same age,
Yes.
bar a few weeks.
Yes.
Yes.
For shipping.
Yes.
for physical postage, by the way, but I
Yeah,
said
yeah.
shipping, and they would
Yes,
say
yes, yes.
not heard
Actual-
not heard our origin story.
putting your baby self on a boat
Yes.
and shipping you across the Atlantic.
Yes.
Oh God. Anyway, so your falsely picked Julin is doing what? Sorry, you were saying
So
something before.
Julin is like, so he steals the bracelet from the Black Aja. That is what we
Do
see
we know
in
that?
Yes.
No. We know that there are 2 bracelets. We know that there are 2
Well,
bracelets.
he has
we don't
a
know.
bracelet. So my theory is that he
Okay.
steals some of the items that they stole from the 13th Depository, and Elaine and Nynaeve are going to be in possession of the stone ring Ter'aran'rhiod.
Yeah, that I can buy that they're going to get. I mean, that happens anyway in the books that they get those.
And they're
Ter'aran'rhiod
getting
and
it
use
from
those.
Julin.
They're getting it from someone.
Julin.
You say
Mhm.
what you like. Doesn't make it right. So
By the way, Tavern
Um,
already has the Control Z equals Balefire on his Redbubble store.
It's on Redbubble already.
Yes.
he's
Oh,
made it on his.
my.
That's brilliant.
That is the power of. Thank you, Tavern, for. I know you're not listening, but thank you, Tavern, for.
He says
Giving
it's
me
up
an
on the
instant
store,
gratification.
LOL. But I don't have the stuff to do that at the, and I can't see the whole thing because, hang on.
Because hand previews.
At the moment, plus no job means no supplies. Sorry. I don't know what
Right.
all that means. But
I
he
mean,
says it's
that's
up on the
fair.
store. Yes.
Great. Love
That
it.
is great. We're looking up the teaser trailer because didn't we see in the teaser trailer Perrin blacksmithing?
Yeah.
think is not
Well,
Perrin
we
blacksmithing.
thought it was Perrin blacksmithing, but it wasn't for sure. Yes.
Yeah, I think that in this episode we've seen it. Yes, I found it. Look, I'm going to share the screen in a
Okay.
moment.
Okay.
Look at this moment here, and we share the screen. And we'll have to post this out as just a regular image at some point, screen, so people can see it.
Yeah, that is that axe.
Yes, so many people were like, "That's not Perrin blacksmithing," and I'm like, "No, that's definitely Perrin
Why
blacksmithing."
did people say that wasn't Perrin blacksmithing?
People thought it was like just it was meant to imply that it was Perrin, but it wasn't actually Perrin
Well, they thought
blacksmithing.
his arm was too light, was what they said.
Yeah, it's too light. It's
Wait.
not tan enough for.
I would like to point out something from this shot that I have not noticed in the past. So we know that Marcus has actually like learned blacksmithing and practiced blacksmithing.
Yeah,
He's got a hammer muscle.
We already
Yeah.
talked about
I
this.
I
You
don't remember
talked
talking
about
that.
this.
About from when like 7 years ago,
No,
When-
this like within the last season. You mentioned this.
maybe. But like because when I was a carpenter, you get a stronger muscle on the
You
right. Okay,
talked
fine.
Yeah.
about this very exact conversation.
So not only do I forget what you said in our podcast, Rob, I also forget what I said.
that's fine. But I remember talking about this when we did the teaser breakdown, which I love that we do that instead of like just reactions and things. It's just so much fun to like place the scenes where they are. And I remember like debating with people. I was like, that's Marcus. That is Marcus. I can tell, and it sounds weird to say it, but I can tell from his arm. And people are like, no, say he's not talking. And all the other things they were saying. And I was like, vindicated right now in this episode. Vindicated. That is Marcus in the dream sequence. Fuck yes. It's on record now. Need to go back and find my tweets if I've done them. I can't remember if I did them or not. So, but yes, very, very happy about that. But yeah, him and Hopper, and I mean, all the dreams were just great. You know, Kira just dreaming, Elaine dreaming about wherever she is. You know, doing whatever she wants to do with Avienda. Very cool.
And it
Perrin
is. I
Hopper
mean,
and
Egwene
fighting.
does peek on her, or no, Egwene finds her in Seafinder dress when
Yes.
they meet up in Tel'aran'rhiod, and she's like without a shirt.
Mhm.
Thank God
Oh
they cut
yeah,
that.
oh yeah. Thank God they did cut
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it did strike me interestingly that Perrin and Nynaeve are dreaming of home.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and Nynaeve obviously is missing Elnor Jr.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which
That
is
makes
obviously
me
quite
sad.
sad. She's missing the life she could have had, but she knows that
Mhm.
she won't and shouldn't. And Perrin's obviously dreaming about home. And then Matt is dreaming about anything away from home, but
Mhm.
getting redemption with, you know, rescuing his sisters and then like getting, you know, I am proud of you from his mother. And it was very interesting that two of them are like away from home, not wanting to be at home, and they're the ones that get in trouble, and the two that have to fix everything. Not saying that Matt and Elaine never fix anything, but they're like, they're the ones that jump first. They're like, I'm gonna go and just do this and come back.
Right.
Whereas Perrin and Nynaeve are a little bit more like, maybe we shouldn't do that type thing, and then they do it anyway, and then end up, in whatever situation and fixing whatever. So like, it felt fitting for the places of all four of them as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but yeah, like, the bit with Matt was just like,
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Oh yeah. And seeing Juliet like with her braid like beautifully, intricately braided.
And she's like,
having...
nice clothes, and she's clean and she's tidy, not bedraggled because her focus is on drinking to eliminate whatever drama is. And this kind of just really enforces for me that Matt has been blamed by his parents for something to do with another sibling.
Mm-hmm.
That story we've had from season 1 where, Matt did something and his parents, left him too early with a younger sibling and they died in some accident, probably drowning or something of that nature. And like, dad's a lech and just ignores his family as a result, and mum's a drunk and blames it all unfairly on Matt. It's really just enforces that for me. So
there was a moment in the story with Juliet and Dane, with Juliet and with Natty and Dane, when she's reaching out of the thing. I didn't know she was reaching for keys. And
oh my god! Like
I had a moment where I was worried she was reaching for his alcohol.
Oh
yeah, I was like, is she reaching for his drink? Is she so like can't handle what's going on?
Wow.
Is she just like really like is she going through withdrawal? Is she like having shakes? Like, and I was like, oh please don't be getting a drink. But then it was so much worse because her trying to get away with the keys then led to
it was
else.
like I'm pretty sure I screened the screen like, how is she thinking she's get away from it? It's not like he's facing the opposite direction. And she's like sneaking over.
Yeah.
Like he's looking at the kids who are shoulder to shoulder with her. There's no way he isn't going to see her leaning forward to grab the keys. It's just like, what? Like, done out of desperation, but a really stupid move on Natty's part, if I gotta be honest.
Yeah.
So yeah. Now, not to end the episode on a low point, but I have seen discussion about Ruark's great daughter.
Yeah, I've seen that too.
I know.
And the more I read about it, I'm just like, we're not doing the Stone of Tear. We might get the Stone of Tear, next season. It's been mentioned. We'll probably get it next season. But why introduce, Ruark's great daughter in this moment and have her bond with Rand unless there's going to be something heartbreaking? And I believe we did find out at one point that we will be getting some kind of attack on Cold Rock's Hold. Yeah. Similar to
so you think we might see that this season?
Yeah, I think we might.
He won't have Calendar. He doesn't need Calendar for it though either. I mean, I don't think he needs Calendar for it. No, I think the whole point of like I am better than the creator, or I am like this strong. I think he's going to we already saw Egwene call him back from using too much during the Bubble of Evil, the Land Fury of Evil. So I think that we can get it without Calendar. We don't need Calendar for it. And I do think it's going to happen this season. I think it's going to happen soon.
It's like an extra kick to be like, you need to learn what you're doing and, what you can and can't do and things like that. Like it's a multiple use death as much as I don't want to see a young kid. I don't want to see anyone die, but, a young kid dying.
Yeah.
And think about what it might do for Ruark to be like, I'm still going to follow you, even though, having you here led to an attack on our hold, which led to the death of my great daughter.
Yeah.
Like it's.
Well, I don't think in an ideal way. Like, I don't think, everyone must wake from the dream. I don't think there's going to be any kind of like, it's your responsibility. Or
no, I don't think he's going to like.
Yeah.
Like specifically blame Rand, but it is going to be a case of like, if I hadn't, brought you to my hold, or Leanne's hold, because obviously technically it's hers, not his.
Yeah.
As a roof mistress, like then this attack wouldn't have come here, and my great daughter wouldn't have been subject to it, type thing. Like, I don't think he's going to be like, Rand, you have toe, but he, it's also, for the viewer, going to be a case of like, well, like if he hadn't done all this, like his great daughter would probably still be alive.
Mm-hmm.
So, and the more I think about it, the more I'm like, it's a good moment from
mm-hmm.
that
and
part of the story to put in this situation. I think it would work.
And the push. So Ruark says it as they walk in. He says, "We'll stay here until all of the clans gather at Alcair Dal."
Yeah.
And in the books, it's the attack that does push them to go as well. But I think that it is like he's just like, we're gonna chill here and it's all fine. We're gonna chill, and Rand's ready to chill because he kind of knows the boulder's gonna start running downhill once he gets there. So I think he also is ready to chill and get to know the culture and feel like he fits in and blah blah blah. Like the moment when he runs off after her is so beautiful because to me it was, well, we talked about this thing, I think. No, we didn't talk about this yet.
No, we didn't
but
talk about it.
I think that it's like Egwene seeing him go off with them, him looking and longing for the childhood he didn't have here. Him going off with her is like his way of being a child at Cold Rock's Hold, which he didn't get to do, but he would have been able to do because that's where he literally would have been raised.
Like he said in Tel'aran'rhiod, like, I don't fit, like, this is not a family, like, my family's not my family, and like when we have to, like, if the a sheep dies in lamb birth, then we blood the new mother onto the lamb to like make him accept him and such, which obviously came to me with the visions of him and his parents' blood on his hands and things like that. Felt like that's him being blooded for the Aiel, which is not really, but it was just like for me a small moment that sort of spoke to that moment of land. But he has lost all sense of family.
Mm-hmm.
He still thinks of Rand as Tam as his father, I'm sure, but he knows Tam's not actually his father, so who is his father, who is his mother, that he's never going to meet either of them. He's had these horrible like he's trying to find where he fits in the world.
And he lost Tam's sword, and he just saw the vision of Jandwin and Tigraine.
Yeah.
Shael.
So yeah. It's although there was a small part of me, like, we didn't see anything post-Viridian. We just see them arriving at walking to Cold Rock Hold and then arriving, and like he's suddenly just like all chill with his place and he's playing with kids. But in the same breath, I liked it as well. I was like, he's accepted, where he is and what he's got to do, and he's like, there's a moment of levity I can have here. I'll take those moments where I can get them.
Mm-hmm.
So,
all right, way to bring it down, Rob.
Yeah, I know, right? All right, I can bring it back up though.
Okay, bring it back up.
Yeah. I forget the name of the actress, but did you see the post from the actress who plays Melaine?
No.
Salome something, I think is her Instagram
That
handle.
sounds right, yeah.
Yeah.
She, there's it made it into the episode, which is why she posted about it. She stumbles mid-sentence. Like, falls back and, like, just sort of, then, like, steps forward type thing. In the, like, they're walking up to Cold Rock's Hold type thing. And they're talking about, it's the moment when, like, where you should have instructed Rand better type thing, and little Avienda's like, some people just don't want to talk before. So I think it's, so Egwene asks, and their Bear answers. So Egwene asks, like, do you think the other clan chiefs and that will accept him? And then Bear says something. And as Bear is saying her line, the actress sort of like, just for Melaine, just sort of steps back slightly, just sort of the tiniest little head wobble, and then just sort of steps forward. It's like she sort of paused and then just like took a bigger step to catch up. And then she says her line, and then Avienda behind her says a line and be like, well, you can't teach someone who doesn't want to be taught. And then she's just like, cannot? Cannot?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I need to play that moment. Do you not know what moment I'm talking
I know
about?
exactly
I know
what moment you're talking about.
but I don't know.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
But what did she say? So
she stumbled basically because of heat. It was so hot. It was like 49 degrees Celsius or something like that, which is like 110, 120 or something wild.
Yeah.
Probably a lot more. And she basically
like almost fainted.
Yeah, she stumbled and almost fainted.
Oh, wow.
And she just, caught herself, delivered her line, and just carried on with the scene.
Wow.
And apparently someone's like, did you stumble? And she's like, look, it was fucking hot, okay? I delivered the scene. Leave me, like very lightheartedly. I haven't actually seen the post, but yeah. And I was just like, kudos to her, man, because that's harsh conditions. Middle of South Africa, burning sun, all that, rocks around you. Heat's being reflected off those. They've absorbed heat. They're pumping it back
Yosha
out.
passed out.
Yeah, Yosha passed out filming. It was very tough working conditions. I'm sure they could only film for a few minutes at a time before they were like, right, back in your cooling apparatus or whatever they're putting you in. And she stumbled mid-scene because of the heat. And then was just like, caught herself and delivered her line anyway. And that's what it is. So it's not her acting. That's her saving herself from passing out mid-scene. And I was like, kudos to you, my dear. But also like, damn, you got to work in some harsh conditions.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, I don't handle heat well, so I can't imagine what that was
Well,
like.
you're from the Midwest, like it, that's fair. It doesn't get that hot, so
It does in the summer. It gets to be like
I know.
it can be 100 degrees with humidity. It's pretty terrible, but we only get that for like a month or 2 months at most. So
I've been in the Midwest during summer. I understand. Don't worry.
yes.
So. All right. Yeah, I think that sort of covers everything from the episode. I'm sure there's so many tiny moments. Oh, I've just been looking, so I've got it on my second monitor here, and I'm just like scrolling back and forth, and the little tiny like frame that gives you like a preview of what it's going to be is popped on the moment when Daniel Henney is putting a bug in his mouth. And then just
He's like, oh, don't
and,
do the head. It's going to bite all the way down.
Yeah, and I was like, that is some serious anal flirting right there. Like,
Yes. Yes.
yeah, lots of fun moments in this. Meeting Leanne and the multiple, people in the relationship thing, and just dream stalking, and yeah, it's a great episode.
And Lanfear is just the worst. That's all I want to end this on. Is Lanfear is the worst.
Yes, she is. I'm so glad you both like this. Not that I was worried a lot of people were going to dislike this episode, but I was concerned this episode would fall
short
of 104.
Yeah, it would
304.
fall. Yeah, basically, it's like, oh, here's like the most amazing episode Wheel of Time has ever produced that's getting 9.5 in IMDb, and episode 5 would basically do nothing wrong except have the unfortunate fact of being the episode that has to follow it.
So I was listening to Tel'aran'rhiod last night. Granted, I was falling asleep in and out during their live recording. But from what I think, their show watcher only friend Brendan thought that this was like a really good episode.
Yes.
Like one of the best. I'm hearing
a lot of people say, yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's an excellent episode. I think this will end up being one of the most underrated episodes in season 3.
Yeah.
Because
when I was on with Dusty Wheel, they were all like placing this underneath a bunch of episodes, and then they never got to asking me what my order was. But I would have said this was like maybe number 2 behind 304.
I put 4. I think I put 4, 1, and then 5, 3, 2 or something like that.
Ooh, Laura says she loved this episode better than 4.
Nice.
Yeah, amazing.
Nice. Well, David really loved it too.
And Mom too.
I love that. David was like, "Oh no, this is excellent. This is great. This is fantastic." And also being that it was this director's first episode of Wheel of Time, also. And
this is a brand new director for this season, isn't it? So yeah.
It was. I like the calm moments. Exactly, Laura. Like that's what Laura says. Like, and David was like, "Oh, we needed a breather after the last episode."
Yeah.
And also knowing we're probably going to be running the next 3 episodes.
Yeah.
We're going to be running at top speed for 79.
6 is definitely going to be like a lot of like amping up, like the pace, the pressure is going to really skyrocket, and then
fun.
Episode 7 obviously is just going to be fucking destroying all of us, and then 8 will just cap that, I think. So yeah, I really enjoyed this, but I have heard some people like, "Oh, that was a crap episode." And I was like, "Oh, no,
David,
I think it's just,
I just saw him say rock solid episode." Yeah,
love that. Yeah, I just think this episode will, for those who don't like it, fall victim to nothing else than just being the episode that had to follow the perfect book episode.
Yeah.
Which I was saying for you and me, Rob, last season, after 206, 207 kind of seemed to fall short for the both of us.
It did, yeah.
Yeah, and it was like a similar...
on rewatches, I appreciated 7 more.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't so overwhelmed by 6.
Which is exactly what Laura says. Episode 4 overwhelmed her.
Yeah.
Like it's a lot to take in. And and for a non-book reader, there's all the questions. Like people are like, "I loved it. I don't know what I just saw." So I don't have a report yet from my non-book reader yet because Zach has not seen episode 5 yet.
Yeah, mine at work, I was like, where are you up to? Because he's been off for like 2.5 weeks.
Yeah.
Where are you up to?
Yeah.
Have you been watching? He's like, yeah. So where have you up to? He's like, oh, I've only watched the first 3 episodes. I haven't got to 4 and 5 yet. And I was like, oh my God. You need to tell me about 4 when you get there. Like,
Yes.
you know.
Yes.
I was like, it's a lot to take in. It's like
Yeah.
it's very limited on views, but it's like a lot happening, and it's like the perfect book episode. He's like, oh, okay, I'm excited, you know.
And I felt like, what we really did want, like the episode is the title Tel'aran'rhiod, and we wanted to see it working. And I think that they gave us like, okay, like Egwene can take Moraine to Swan's dream.
She learned really quickly, I have to say that.
She learned, of course she did, but I'm also not surprised at that, and I love that.
She did.
Yes, she did. And that
No, actually, no, I said this in 3-4 talk, and I'm going to say it now. Really sorry to interrupt you there, Jen.
No.
But like, in one essence, you know, she's learning things with Bear and Melaine, and you know, she's just like, you know, picking things up quick and surprising them there. Then Moraine asks for her favor, and she's like, oh, I think maybe, and she manages it, and then she's just like, oh, well, now I'll just dream hop like no one's business. And I was like,
and she also thinks she's
30
following
seconds
rules.
ago you said maybe.
Because she technically
now...
did not, because I think what
She's
their
not in
agreement was,
Tel'aran'rhiod.
she did not enter Tel'aran'rhiod. And I think
And-
why she said she
No.
was entering Moraine's dreams was like, she was like, this is safer. Was she
No, I
thinking
get
And
that.
also, I'm not going to get in trouble.
I'm not
No,
going to get
no,
in
I
trouble.
meant-
Yeah.
No, I took the maybe to mean like maybe I can take you to Swan's.
Oh, no,
Dreams.
I-
It's
I
like,
agree.
maybe I have the talent.
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it
then
was just
once-
like, you've gone
yeah.
from that, you've dropped her off
Yeah.
in Swan's dreams, and then you're like, oh, I'll just bounce around anyone's dreams.
And
now.
I'm not breaking
That-
the rules.
And she's not
I
breaking the
wasn't-
rules.
Yeah,
'Cause
I
she's
know that. It
technically
just
not in,
Yeah.
it just felt quick that she was like,
yeah.
one moment maybe I could have the talent to do that, and suddenly she's like, no, I can just find anyone's anywhere.
Well, yeah,
That
and then
is
she's like,
very
"Oh,
on
this is
brand for
easy."
Egwene.
I
is.
know, but it still felt a little much for the show. And sorry, we keep talking
Well,
over Jen. Go, Jen.
No, but I think this is great because I think this is exactly right. Is that I thought it was a really beautiful example of Egwene. Swan says this line to her in the books that I love this a moment. Sorry, not Swan. Somebody says it to her when she's about to go in through the accepted rings, I think. But somebody says to her, maybe Swan says it to her in the bar. But whatever it is, it's like you need to use your mind, not just your power. And
I think
know that
Moraine
there's like
says
that line.
that in season 1.
Maybe Moraine says it.
That
Okay,
feels
so
like it, yeah.
yeah, Moraine
Yeah.
says it in season 1. So
Mhm.
the idea of using your you've got to use your smarts, not just your power. And this is a moment of Egwene acting with her heart, not thinking about the consequence, not thinking about the fact that she is absolutely looking in on people's dreams that are private and she shouldn't be.
Snooper.
And then also that she thinks she's like, I'm safe because I'm in just dreams, so I can be completely relaxed here. I don't have to worry about Lanfear. And also, I'm not going to get in trouble from the wise ones. She's going to get so much trouble.
yes.
She's going to get in trouble. She's gonna
I
get
want to
so
see
much
her
trouble.
running laps with Avienda. Or
Yes.
digging a hole and filling it back in, or moving a bucket of water
or
by finger
the
drops.
bucket of water by
Yeah.
drips. So I have to say, I did go back and relook at Ruark's great daughter, to say like she's not wearing any red ribbons, and she's not even carrying a doll. But I think they're going to make Egwene carry a doll, like the doll that was in Tel'aran'rhiod.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That could be. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, she can get in trouble.
I love
She is gonna
Egwene,
get in
but
trouble.
yes, she probably does. She has a little toe, just a little bit.
She a snooper. She a snooper.
She's
But also, Rand's a fucking dumbass.
He
man.
is a
Like,
fucking asshole.
Think with the right head, my dude. Like,
Yes.
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 Stop
She's
trying
so-
to fix her. Trust me, you can't fix her.
I know.
You know? I've
Yeah,
been
but
there,
it is-
done that.
But
you
it is
know?
interesting. I mean, he did just have this experience in in the rings, in the columns, where he was like, "Wait, I see where Mierin came from. I see where you
Yeah.
came from. No one can walk so long in the shadow that they can't come back to the light." Like, you know, it's his hopeful. Well, here's what it is for me. It's the hopeful Rand. It's the
It
Rand
is.
that still has hope. And
It
I'm
is.
unfortunately feeling like we're about to get that beaten out of him.
But he's
You know?
being deceitful to Egwene, and it's really fucking
That
terrible.
is douche.
He is, but
Yeah.
in his brain, he's not cheating on her because it's in his dreams. And also in his brain,
Is it cheating in a dream?
It
Yeah,
is
it's
cheating in the
100%
dream. It is cheating when you are fully aware that she is
Okay.
in your dream. It is cheating
in those
in the dream.
dreams.
Yeah.
In those dreams, yes.
That is
okay,
fair.
fine.
But I do think I think also like they have both moved on and they just don't know how to say it.
Yes, I
I agree with that.
Because they
but
both
it is
don't
still
want to hurt
very
each other.
He just makes me so mad in this episode.
Yes.
David's listening. David's like, it's not cheating if it's in a dream. No, he didn't say that. He didn't say that at all. He's just, David really likes Lanfear, so I think he's telling, I think he's
in a
sending that
regular
vibe to
dream
me.
for us
Unky
regular
David,
humans.
we have a problem.
Regular people in regular dreams.
In regular people in regular dreams,
Yeah.
it's not cheating because it's a dream. You can't help yourself.
It's not a regular dream.
But yes, I was about to say, but in this context of the TV show with the style of the dreams they're having, yes, that would constitute cheating. That's true. So, but this is what happens when you don't communicate your breakup effectively.
Yes.
This
you
is
know?
true. This is true.
I mean, no one said they were on a break, just to go from that angle. But
We were
you know,
on a break.
which, for the record, they were on a break. Anyway,
But it is true. No one has, they're just like, and it's really sweet because it's both because they don't want to hurt each other, but
Yes.
just like have the convo, which we're going to see it. We're going to see
Yes.
it.
Oh
this
yeah,
week.
that's going to be the cold open in the
has-
next episode
has to-
for sure.
something has to happen. Yeah, you
All the
know.
way through Bear saying like your paths are not aligned, you know?
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is that the bad chapstick?
No, I got rid of it. I
No.
threw it away instantly. I threw it away. It's already in the garbage. This is good chapstick.
I love it. All right, folks, I hope you've enjoyed hanging out with us. And parents just put in chat land for equals different rules. Oh my God, that's brilliant.
Okay, I wasn't wrong in I was speaking for David. He did not say that to me at all, but I wasn't wrong.
There we go. Thank you for those that have hung out in live chat with us here.
Yes.
If you want to do that, you can just go and join the Patreon as a Borderlander, and you can come hang out with us on Saturdays and listen to us tell each other our loony theories and pick who's a cat, who's a cucumber, and third wheels, and all those good things.
I'm definitely looking this up as soon as we get off.
Yes.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be amazing. You'll die with laughter about it. Please follow us on social media. You can find us on Blue Sky, threewheeling.malkittalks.com, or you can find us on Instagram, which is 3.wheeling, and that is where you will see. I mean, you'll see them on Blue Sky, but you'll see them better. The beautiful cocktails that makes for us. And you can follow us individually on Blue Sky. Our accounts are in the show notes. And just like the podcast, rate us, review us, all those good things. Send us your feedback. And if you're watching on YouTube, like the video and subscribe and comment below with, who you think the cat was and who you think the cucumber was. Let's go with that. That's funny.
And tell
So,
everyone how fun we are to listen to. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think this is the first time you've broken me twice in an episode. I feel like you definitely broken me once in an episode before, but I think that I broke twice this episode. This is going to be fun to edit. I'll tell you that. So, but yeah, thank you so much, everyone, and we will see you next time. So,
Bye. Once again, we've proven that even when you're the third wheel,
You can always find a place to fit in
join us next time
on Three Wheeling.
on three wheeling.
on Free Wheeling.